Yes. That's good. Volume. Shabba. Testing. David is in the house. All right, all. Good evening. Let me just set up. I'm mashing a brew myself. If you want to join, you will let me know. Email me at at UK Freedom Project. I'll type it in the room. Yeah, to join. 1 minute. Let me do it this way. I have too many emails. I'm still using this for now. Let me see if I've got UK Freedom Project at gmail.com. Helps if you get it right, doesn't it? Sound is good. Yo, yo, yo. All right, testing. Andy's coming in a minute. If you want to join, let me know. If not, define your equity. Make it second nature as oneself. Let me see who's in the house. P900s. Yes, sister. Lev Kung Fu Shaolin. Hi, Indy. I think I know you. Are you a Sheffield brother, Lev Kung Fu? Is it Lev that I'm thinking of? Shaolin. Hi, Sandra. Yes, Lev, Bob, showing us. Click three dots by people name. Add moderators. Ah, thank you, P900, for that. In that case, Bomb Shanker, let me be the first. Is that what you do? Ah, P9. Oh, what else we got then? Who's in the Famalam? Just you for the time being, P900. You are the moderator. Thank you. You don't have to be, but I will do it for you. And FPV anytime. Michael Barnes, hello there, brother. You can be a moderator with P900. All right, my brother. Don't worry if you go or you have to go or you haven't got time. Just look out for the fam. I'm going to go and mash a brew. I've got it on slow mode, so let me turn slow mode off now. We've got that sorted because let me find the settings. My brain. Let me see if I can override that then. So unenable slow mode, save. Yes. All right. I found a subject, guys. That there's only one video. There we go. There we go. Freedom. Does that work then? Spanner. Ah, P900. I love you. Thank you for that. That's helped me out immensely. Every day is a day for education. Man doesn't know it all. You know you can't know it all. But what I do know, there's a video subject on YouTube that there's only one video on. I found a subject of which there is only one video of it on YouTube. Let me bring you this, Famalan. It's a Jordan Maxwell topic because I'm doing the law and the phonetics and the astrotheology and the Bibles, and I'm doing quite a lot actually, too much for what should not need to be done. It's a ridiculous amount of crappy research of which one brain cannot handle, which is why I'm asking you for help and why we do this. What am I talking about? The subject, Jordan Maxwell. There's only one video of it on YouTube. Can you guess what it is? I'll not say it straight away, but I was researching the Vatican with Jordan Maxwell on YouTube. Sorry, let's get some water from outside. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of finishing off with regards to Catholics, Protestants, language, Latin, extra vowels, W and Y, the return of the Saviour, June 1666, and Capitol Hill, Congress, the Vatican City, certain things like this now. Wow, remind me about Jim Carrey. We've exposed the Jim Carrey subliminal message with the pan puppet and the sex scene on that. We need to talk about that. That explains why Jim was a bit of a Fruit Loop earlier. But yeah, Jordan Maxwell. I've got a subject of which there is only one video on YouTube that we need to get more on, okay? This is a call out to the Famalan. This is a call out to YouTube in every sense of the word. The call out is that this subject has only one video on YouTube. I can't see the screen. I'm just saying it on purpose, just so you can think and have a look at what would it be. Yeah, it's about priesthood, okay? That's the first word you need to use for your search. Jordan Maxwell can do. Don't use Google. Please use DuckDuckGo and other such search engines. Let me add Sovereign Smith while I'm in the kitchen as well. And then look for Priesthood of the ILLES. All right, let me get a link to the video that I've watched, because this is truly, truly remarkable. All right. I don't want to ask you to do this. I'm just asking you to consider this subject now, because we're deep in the rabbit hole. Yeah, we're as deep as man's been, to be fair, not because we we didn't mean to. I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, I should be DJing or something comparable. Here we go. Unslaved. These guys, they're excellent. Newfoundland. To me, this is the next single thing what we do. I've subscribed to them. Unslaved Project is the channel, okay? And what we've got is, this is the subject. There's only this video, as far as I could see, on YouTube. So I need help with the priesthood of the ILLES. This is to do with, well, I'll let you find out. We've already discovered, the pitfalls of certain parts of the Old World, New World, Old Testament, New Testament. This flat Earth thing. Let me get this out there. This flat Earth thing, right? The reason why I'm interested in it is because it was originally flat in the Old Testament. So if God's word is in the Old Testament and he's telling you about a construct which is a realm of, and the good word of, and then it gets changed by the hand of man, then who's the crazy one? To be fair, I'm not saying just why did I say that? But this kind of historical upturning of factual rather than assumption. Oh, I'm sorry for saying that. I've signed my own fate. Let me get Andy in. See if he drops in. That should be the geezer. He's got a bit of time before servitude. He won't be on long, I don't think, because he's got servitude tomorrow. Anybody else want to join, let me know. It's an open hangout. Yeah, let me write down what that is. So Unslaved, I've had a chat with them. I've got a few new channels that I'm making friends with that are very clever. Let me show you this other channel while we're here. Who's this? This guy, he's actually got a tin hat. It's not really a tin hat, but it is.
All right, bro.
Shabba.
What one?
Hey, yo. Just chatting to Tube. I thought, as I can't go live on the Book of Faces, then we'll bop over to the other network.
Okay, mate. Already live then, I see you.
Oh, we're already live. Yep, we're already live. That's right. Sorry, I changed the setting by accident. It took me by surprise as well. Well noticed. Wasn't intentional. I've unchecked it. Playing with stuff.
All good, brother. Just in the middle of making brew.
Making brew. Yeah, I've told him. I said you were mashing a brew. So I've just given them a video of the. I'm just giving them a little bit of an update of stuff that I can update them on with regards to non-sensitive trust stuff, non-trust stuff that's non-sensitive, like that priesthood of the ills and what's happening with regards to this channel. Who's done it? I want them to find me some more subjects on if they can. Chattel, religion, spiritualness. You read something out from the Bible, actually, didn't you, about flat Earth? That was quite good. That was a good read.
It's all there written in Genesis.
That's the one.
Read all the chapters of Genesis, mate. It's there.
Right, I'm now going to post and we're going to chat about some other stuff, but that's I said you've got servitude tomorrow, so I'll just post this link for later, but something to chat about after you've gone. What do you want to say to Tube? I don't think we've told him about your success for a start down in, I know we're on Tube, so I don't know if you want to tell them or if you want to wait till on private, but have we got anything we could bring to them that we could summarise or,
That's
what I'm saying, summarise, yeah. It's up to you, bro.
You could summarise if you wish, mate. You've got disclosure.
All right, yeah, just let me concentrate on, I'm just going to say watch this, please. And then I want to put that link in. It's important just for, yeah. And then that one. 1 second, guys. 1 second. It's I've gone blind. Done it. That's it, right. So today, let me go and mash your brew. I think I put the kettle on as well. I've made some moderators. I've got some new tricks of the tube actually. Let's Albert Matthews. Hello there, brother. You can be a moderator. I'm going to give you a blue spanner, Albert. That means if you see any trouble about, you're going to join P900 Cool Picks and I think Michael Barnes it was. I gave moderators to, so we don't have to have the chat limited now. And I can walk away from the control center, and these guys have got functionality. We'll see what they can do. I don't know what they can do, but it will become apparent if they need to. I'm just explaining that because of the talk up in the seminar, should I say, up in York, and the feedback and the connections from that, we're getting a lot of activity. Not a lot, but a bit more than usual. There's common law court issues with rumours about John Smith and Rob S getting detained against his will. Be careful with my words. I'd like to say we speak at ease. Yeah, don't judge anybody for the words. We're not on a test here. I'd like to be at ease. I'm quite tired, but yeah, Rob, yeah. John Smith, York. You're right, your little thing. Let me summarise. Andy is well aware that there's a legal system at hand, and that legal system he's encountered before many times, and he uses lawful remedy to what we would call work around that, or to say where there's a door closed and you get given a no, and they say when you ring them or you contact them, they turn around and whatever establishment purporting it, hospital, doctors, school, housing, these kind of things, yeah, public things that say no sometimes. Well, he's dealt with them, and this time they said no to an issue that he had, which is personal. It was a public building office, though, that's serving public capacity, is what you need to know. And he says, I'm not happy with that, and I don't think that's right. And they said, I assure you, that's right. I assure you, I'm going a bit like that, man, from I don't know why. But, yeah, he said, well, I'd like to come down and chat about that, please. And so the man went down.
Yes, make me an appointment. I wish to be there in persona for a private meeting.
Take it away, brother. Go on, you tell them. I'm just trying to set it up for...
That's basically what it was, mate. They're trying to sucker me a talk. So I put it right down.
What's a tort? We know what tort is. Tort, tacit. These are the words that we band around. We know what they are. These guys need to know. We don't use them, but we understand that if we use them back to the system and say, what? They're not allowed, because no man can suffer, can they, brother? And you know this. No.
A tort under common law jurisdiction is a wrong.
And if you can prove that and you can hold them to account under their full public liability or full liability, then many magic moves happen, don't they?
Absolutely. They must afford your person benefits, and they must furnish your requirements.
Right there, I'll just turn my camera off while I mash the brew, and excellently done. So in a nutshell, the success is legal situation with ramifications. We would call them what? Very, very severe ramifications.
Yeah, as bad as it gets, though.
Yeah, we can't, and that's dealt with. You got closure, yeah? You got the answer, you got the outcome you wanted.
I have clarification here via document that come 2 days later to say that it's getting sorted.
There we go, brother. So during this, we'll say, reshuffle of our private family trust on the Facebook domain and the incorporation and management going forward, Andy's taken position to manage the Facebook trust as the governor there. And so naturally, with anything like this We have conflict. We will always continue to have conflict. We've pointed out about Jay Atkinson and Quataloos.com, federal attorneys, and certain other shills and agents like Wellcome Finance, possibly certain things like that that are in the group. So we realise it's a public area, even though we tried to make it private, and it's not 100%. But what we've got there is a good, wholesome place of no fear, no aggression, no hostility, peace and love, and where minds can get together and work all this out. It's coming together really well. They're a strong team, and whilst we've done that, and we've had to appreciate that all that we thought was good was not good. And I've mentioned in previous videos about I didn't see the things at Creepeth, and I thought it was all good, and maybe to some extent there was unconscionable acts going off in the group that was to stop unconscionability in itself. So that is why we've had this, and as a result, I'd like to just reinforce to this domain via my channel, brother. I could not have had a better better man soul come up and help fight this law movement and this cognitive change that we're having, and for you to repeatedly have instances where you are in a legal bind and you are using your remedy, well, you articulating a remedy, a lawful one, and you're using the instrumentation and you are encountering the systems honourably, and you are not only rebutting it, but you are seeking your own remedy in law, which is very seldom done with man in this day and age, because man doesn't know who he is or what law is. So you are one of the privileged few, and I just wanted to take this time, as you've taken a time out, you know, I know you're a busy man, and you got this tomorrow, just to say to these guys and this family that I don't think there's anybody I could actually, you know, say this about that I know other than you. So just know, brother, I love you to bits, and it's it needed to be said. You're a legend. You are a legend, brother. All right.
Thank you, mate. Well, I'm only in your reflection, mate. We're all equal, so we've all got the job in hand to do. It needs to be individually done. However, it needs to be done unitedly as well. So, you know, unity is key. Diligence is required, a bit of compassion, a bit of consideration, and a whole lot of application.
I'll turn me out. Sorry, I'm just muting a minute. Yeah, and with that said, in earshot of that, these poor souls subscribing to me in the early days. Thank you for putting up with the Speedy Gonzales, angry, you know, confused Tasmanian, ADHD, hyperactive, 100 miles an hour. I had so much going on, and I needed to try and go in, you know, directions of which I thought was honourable. And my brain is just a brain, and like anybody else's, you know, it's hardly used. I'll admit that. Yes, like new, very funny, but even so, I tried to do my best, and I was on my own for a bit, and then we set the family and team up. But then, you know, it started to need attention, and I don't know. Sometimes I just wish that I wondered if it would be better just to forget about it, Andy, and to, you know, just leave it sometimes. But no, it's you've saved them from themselves in a way, because if they don't know what's what, but you know, they know what is what, but they don't know what is what, they just strut what the, you know, then that's it. That's what we're doing. So you stop them from doing that, because I was ready to delete, because it's a hard game, and the support we've had from Steve and from others, and where we're going now, and with your capability and your new team and the governorship of the Facebook, and then me going to focus on this .com on there. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And Richard's still on board. Well, not on board as part of the family. We've got a lot of technology here that's it's very powerful. The Pendragons. They've got the Facebook change now. You know, it's not a private group. Anyone can search for it. Trustee approved. You know, it's going. It can't be stopped. It can't be deleted. It's out there, and you're living proof that it works. You know, anybody that doubts that, you have the word, the bond of. It's excellent.
Well, I have both verification and clarification of that which I say and do. So I can't speak outside of what I say, what I do. You know, I can only surmise what you don't have first-hand knowledge for. But definitely that which I've done in Team Remedy for, mate, my word, my honour and bond. So it's simple.
That's it. That's all we need. No need no proof. You know, anybody that asks for proof or a signature, this is what I mean. That's what I was saying about the Facebook there. I'll be careful. But anybody that requires further documentary or proof, or as Martin Lawrence says at the wedding scene, I love you, baby. You're my whole world. You know, I love you. I love you forever. This, that, the other, and he's giving it all the jazz. And you know, we're gonna do this, X, Y, and Z, and blah blah blah. Now will you just sign here? What? You know, you don't take my word for it. You want me to sign? What kind of a, you know, and what kind of realm is that? What kind? No trust there. The trust has been collapsed. It's not, you know, it's not there. All we have is our bond. And if you think you need to sign for something, then you're mistaken, aren't you? Very much so.
If a signature is required, it's mistrust. If a man doesn't trust you, he's going to ask you for a signature to bond you, to contractually oblige you, or vice versa. If you don't trust a man, you're going to want to draw a contract up with them. Absolutely.
And allow you to dip into the funds, yeah, to get into the access route, to get onto the funds. So yeah, you know what's going on. You said, I asked at one point. We can say this about the amount of persons. Yeah, can I talk about the amount of persons, Andy? About that scenario, or could you explain? Would you like to explain? That's not data sensitive, but the scenario physically and in realms of whom was present. We could go through that. That'd be interesting for them to, mentally envisage, if you like, paint a picture.
Okay, there's a claim made against me. So,
go on, brother.
In the eyes of a corporation, they've made a claim against me. So I've rung these individuals up to say there's no claim against me. The claim is against my estate. They didn't know what I was talking about. They carried on imposing themselves, and they wouldn't verify that which I was saying is correct. So I basically called for a meeting, and we went down there. I took my person, and the individual making the claim was there. I put my person on the table. I explained who that was. I explained who I was. I then went further on to explain who she is within that relationship of me and my person. And from that point forward, she was then compelled and instructed to do that which I required to benefit my estate.
All right, so I'm just checking the chat there. Yes, excellent. Simply put, yes. That's all we need to say there.
I'm a simple man. I operate simply. Law is very simple. Common law is common sense. It's very simple. Don't use the big words that they use. Don't use the legalese. Use Oxford English Dictionary. Use your etymology. Know what you say and keep it simple.
Yes. Here's an example that, for instance, ignorance of the law, they say, not me, but the legal system's rules. Ignorance of the law is no defence. So, all right, how many laws are there? Well, there's 26 million. What? Mm-hmm. 26 million public statutory codes, roughly. So we need to know all of them. Or ignorance is no defence. Well, how's about they don't apply to us? We don't need to know them because it's not law. In your world, it's law, but that's not our world. And your world involves our person, doesn't it? And our world involves law.
Ignorance is no defence, but the actual maxim is. Do you know it?
The actual maxim. Go on. No, go. No, I don't. Go on, Andy. Please enlighten me.
As you know, silence is acquiescence.
Silence is deemed as consent. Yeah, acquiescence. That's another one of their rules. Yeah. That's true. Depends, that's not our rule. That's their system for their legal constructs, isn't it? So they say your silence is deemed as acquiescence. Yeah.
If you don't rebut the claim against your estate, well, then it stands in law.
That's right. And after 90 days, most claims, there's another little tidbit, are dealt with. So after 90 days, by default, under certain trust agreements and laws and regulations and acts, governance, they paid out because there's no rebuttal, there's no resistance. So what? Okay, you're still chasing me for a year later then. Hey, what's going on? It's all corrupt, mate.
It's all discharged that are correct, but they're still looking for debt notes to discharge you of the debt. It just cannot be done physically. So the whole thing is fraudulent, A to Z.
It's a big game. It really is. It's deep. As Andy's pointing out, there are millions of little bits that we don't respect or abide by because They're not our. It's not our society. It's not for. We're not persons. We're
Right.
not. You know. We're
I
not
do make it
involved in that.
sound extremely simple. I do speak in a very simple way. I put the remedy across very easily, very simply. But it isn't very easy and it isn't very simple. It's took me many, many months and hours and days and nights to get this together. So people look at me in the way that like when you watch a professional snooker player or you watch a professional dart player, they make it look extremely easy. People don't see that the homework that these guys have had to do, the homework I've had to do, and it's the homework that these others are going to have to do as well to cognise it in the way that's required. It's the application that's required.
It is, mate. It's the most beautiful, most important thing man can ever do. And if it involves your blood, your offspring, the roof over your head, you know, and things like this, it's that's when the system is no emotion. There's no grounds for oh well, you've got children. All right, that makes all the difference. Then no, it doesn't. But we can claim vulnerability to some, and we've seen. I'm just going to go in the kitchen and yeah, just do a couple of jobs. But we've seen that there is a Chrissy Morris brought this to my attention. I don't mind saying a couple of years ago with the council and the zero nil by income, certain things like that. You know, the systems we can use, human rights. Been talking to a guy called Ahmed about international human rights covenants. Lots of things here that are quite simple. You guys pick your own, but you need to know the knowledge of all. Well, you don't need to know the knowledge. You need to know the systems or the options. We'll call them options. The options that are available, because we don't get given the options. We get told what we are meant to do, and that's not really cricket. To be fair, for want of a better word, you're not going to get justice staying in the public, following orders as the general public is what I mean. When you think for yourself and you have your own application, as Andy said, due diligence, things like this. And now, unfortunately, we live in an age where you need to see videos and hear stuff, which we have provided in abundance for you, and we're still standing, as the song says.
Absolutely.
We're standing, aren't we? We're standing tall, proud. We're not standing on the shoulders of giants. We're standing on a base prime, simple prime law constructs of common law. We've separated the common law with this statutory ignorant, is no defence and all that public side. We've gone to the common law side. We've separated that. We've put the equity with the common law. We've done a massive job here. This should be the accolade. We should be able to retire now and leave it at that. But instead, no, we're going to persevere on and keep going, breaking the grounds. And this is because of John Harris and Romley Stewart and all of the guys that we've looked and chatted to, Steve McRae. Everybody's having a piece into it, because what we do is we have a look at what everybody else is doing, and we say, well, okay, and we analyse it a bit, and we say, well, why wouldn't you do it like this, or why are you doing it like that, and do you realise that this is that, and that is this, and that is not what it means, and then we have a go again, and
Do you know the
yeah.
fact of the matter is, I don't analyse anybody else. I only analyse myself. And another fact of the matter is, I only realise what others are doing because it's brought to my attention. And I have messages, I have phone calls, I have personal, private messages and things that Leslie
Mm.
and such and things. And different to you, Andy, I'm like, well, each to our own. Every horse has its own course. But what I can affirm and confirm for you is that the man's remedy for his person is in the King James Bible.
Yeah, you keep saying that. You must have said this now 50 times, so I hope it's dropping in, family. You said that. I will say, you said this on almost every video, every other video. This is a key point there. A key point for your competence. It will guide you. What would you say? Would it be like a guide, an encryption device, a structure of?
What it is, it's a guide for you to have a perception of. Now, there's words in there that you're probably not going to comprehend. You're going to want an Oxford English Dictionary, and if you couple those two books together, and you will soon come to comprehend and understand what's going on here. It's the Christian and the Roman Empire at war, and it's us that are at war with them, whether you want to be or not. And
Get in, yeah.
and to separate yourself from that system and its fractal, perpetual debt, slavery. You're going to have to cognize this book and understand who you are, because until you know who you are, you're not going to get a remedy. And I mean, given my background, I'm rough and ready. I'm a council estate lad. I've got the tattoos and the scars and all the bits and pieces. And when you're growing up and people, oh, he's gone off around the world to find himself. I would never know what was meant. I would never know. I thought these people were all just crazy hippies and that they're off the rockers smoking the funny stuff. But when it comes down to the law and people say, look, you have to know who you are, it's because it's the jurisdictions of man and the person. And when you realise that you're not a person in law, it will all click together for you. You can come back in the room anytime, Dave.
Right, so I'm listening to you. I'm just thinking that um, how to respond to this articulately without being insultive. So here we go. So you classify yourself. Let's go for Tommy Robinson's family. Yeah, his family supporters there. Sorry to bring that name up, Tommy Robinson, and we've got him and we've got his supporters, and they're all English and they're patriots and they're proud and England and whatever and
Well, to
football
look at what
shirts
is
and
a
what.
patriot for
And
start off, you absolutely carry on.
yeah, yeah, I'd like to get these guys in a room and not for any violence, for peaceful talk, and say, right, so, and I'd like to hear what they've got to say. I'd let them all be exhausted and I'd listen attentively. And after this chat, I'd make notes and I'd have my list and I'd work through. So, right, I've listened to you all. Now you've got to hear me, please. You've got to have the same respect. Yeah, I've took all your, it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours on there. After they've done it, I'll be like, right, so. I'm gonna go through this afterwards, but what I've taken from what you've told me is giving me alarm bells, and here are the alarm bells, and I'd go through it, and I'd start with the language. You've mentioned this, this, and this, and this, and this in your list of what you've said and what's wrong and what you stand for, what you oppose, what you do, what you'd fit, all of that shit that they come out with. And I say, right, so, and then I'd go through it all and say, so you're English, and all your Englishness and your love and your peace and your rightfulness and your just right and proper as they see it in their environment, and to them it's right and it's fine and it's normal. And we go, okay, so what about this, this, and this? What is the angle for that? What is this? And who are you? And you're standing there proclaiming the love for your country, but your country is a landmass. The United Kingdom is a trust. England is not England. You've got, and we break it down and say, so with all the love and peace in the world, everybody that's, somebody did it with the KKK in America, turned on Jack Fresco, to be fair, in Jack Fresco's write-ups, but it's just mentality and the way that we look at it, and there's this anger look, and there's this demonstration, and all of these furious things happening outside the royal courts of justice and proclamations of it, but nobody's doing it right, and they're just laughing all the way home to the bank, the establishment, and what you're going to be a part of now, and this family channel, the Facebook, the new admins is a rebirth of the divine pure laws, which where it's simply man knows who he is and what law is. That's all we're going to teach them, and the law is not 26 million statutory codes, is it?
Well, this is all I've advocated since 1997 when I very first started this.
Go on. No, what happened? I know, but let's just go through it again. What happened in 1997, my good man?
Well, I took allodial custody of my property, the title of them, my two sons and my daughter. I won a private case in court. I put my suit in my case, brought it on the day,
Mm-hmm.
and got my remedy. Little did I know at that time that I was actually acting in trust and equity. But it's took me a lot of years to cognise that the language that's used, the way that it's going in there, how to shift the jurisdiction, what you're doing, how to move the power, as they say. But it's such secretive, it's such non-disclosure of the way that the court operates, the tennis court. You have to find out either by being hurt, harmed, suffered a loss or a tort or an injury, and go there, or you come across lucky individuals like you and I that can help a little piece and put you right. It's took me a lot of heartache and a lot of time to do what I've done and get where I am, but that's why I endeavour to help any other, to stop them feeling maybe the pain that I've felt in the past going through this.
And And thank you for that honesty and that bit there that you're sharing with the guys and on the video. So I'm privy to something else of which I'd just like to maybe not. Don't worry. It's about the father's justice, things like that. Did you have an insight into? You must have got into it then
Yes.
previously? Was this before '97 or after? Because I just like to
No, that,
specify that as well. Go on, because this is a
yeah.
part of. If guys are wondering, well, where's Andy come from? How does Andy do this? Is it for real? Is it just? I'd like to just demonstrate that you was a subscriber from Tube, what, 2 and a bit years ago when we met and linked up, and now we've gone to, because people are asking me about you and where you've learnt this from and how, and if you've gone on a course and that, and it's like they don't understand that you already had 75% of the knowledge when you and I became acquainted initially, and then I drove down to yours, whatever, and we had that chat and we become friends after that account was made that you keep holding against me for the Book of Faces. So yeah, you had, as you've just said there again, you was using the technology of the trust, but you didn't know it, as we all have been doing, as we've provided examples for in the past. So yeah, but 1997, before or after then, what was that with that interaction with
Yeah.
that justice? Go on, and sorry, thank you.
1997. I started within that movement and advocating fathers for justice. I actually started uh, to take back the allodial title of my property in 1999, but it took me until 2001 to complete that task. But much to my credit and everything else, I still managed to do it. But it just took me a little bit longer than I would hoped. But nonetheless, I got the remedy. I got you know the title of the property, and they're here, and they're all absolutely thriving, not surviving. They're thriving. They all have management positions within their workplaces and bought their own properties and whatever else. And who haven't, they're still with me at home at such a tender age, and everything's looking good. It's positive in that way, but it doesn't mean to say that it's always been that way. There's heartache along the way. It's very painful, let me tell you.
Heartache, but I've had a fast, giddy beating heart, an uncontrollable, wow, you can imagine, yeah, anxiety is not nice at all when you are anxious about, that's the killer. What, for me, the anxiousness that man
Well,
goes through when it's your right, it shouldn't be left to chance as such. And, sorry, go on.
and that's why we advocate the health and the wealth, because we shouldn't suffer an anxiety,
Mm.
nor should we suffer a memory. The past, the history. So we can only live in the now, and it's getting ourselves sorted in that line, and being compass mentis enough to do that. The self awareness, whereby you can carry yourself in almost a professional manner when you get to that realm, and you can conduct yourself in a just and proper way without vexation or frivolity, and you have the time and the patience to listen to what's being said and then accurately answer any questions given by the other parties, and also asking your own questions as king. And that
This is
will,
mothers and fathers. We're not just talking. We go on about dads because me and Andy are dads, and we've had to fight for our blood. And he's got quite a good, nice, sweet little remedy there, and success of mine. It's private, but yeah, I've got a court writ, and then just because of things said to them physically, they despise me for beliefs that they hold that may or may not be true. I will say they are not true. I have to be careful because this is ongoing for me still. Because I've had closure lawfully, legally, but morally, ethically, I'm looking at what parental alienation. My mum is a grandmother. She's even suffered alienation because of this. My family have the uncles, the aunties. Me, the settlor creator. I haven't done the claims on them or anything. No, so it's all as is under the assumptions, and I haven't really got anything. I know that, but I can have, but I don't speak to them. So my life, with what I know now, is the one day when my blood, which will happen before I take my eternal breath, I assure you all, that's a given. I will speak to them, and that conversation, they'll be like, so they're coming to me perhaps with ideas and prerequisites that dad's been in the big house, or which I haven't. I never served a custodial sentence. These rumors that get put around about when guys split up, when they're not clean, So I'm a victim of that, basically, and I need to be careful
Well,
what I say. So now I've
I'll
got the
tell you
chance to
straight.
show my blood. You know, it's totally opposite. My blood's going to come to me thinking, you're an idiot. You've been to this, you've done that. Mum said whatever. And I'm like, well, actually, this is who I am and what I do. And there's two, you know, these are my friends. This is my family. And it's going to be an emotional bloody day. I know that much. Go
Well,
on.
I can
And
tell you
you
something. That
go, bro.
I've uh, I've been in the big house. I've been incarcerated for kidnap of my own property, and it's those low times like that that I'm glad I persevered and studied the law and took back what was rightfully mine in the right and proper just way. So I've gone from one end of the shitty stick right back up to the other end, and to be incarcerated for doing the best by your own children. And there's mums and dads out there that cast theirs aside and things, you know. And I was being persecuted by my own state government, not by any other, you know. And I was trying to do just and right and proper by them, but because they had a husbandry role over the estate, over the family, I was being bent over, and it was that I learned to defend.
Just let me take a minute because I have to think before I speak on that one because I answer with anger for you because you know I feel it and it's that there. That's the crime. That's the crime that man, creditor, settlor, creator, the man is linked and annexed to this world of nasty, evil shite, and goes in and takes the rap for doing something that one lawfully is wrong and immoral. Full stop. Point blank. The creator looks down and thinks,
Exactly.
you know, he
2 years,
tucks to himself, doesn't he?
2 years after my incarceration, I took the custody of them. That shows how just and proper I really am.
You went for it. You went all right then. You what is it? Let's quote Tupac here. Not because I love Tupac, but because they used him in a film. And did I just hear the president quote Tupac? Yeah. The wars come and go, but my soldiers are eternal. The soldiers are you and me fighting for our blood. That was a war. Yeah, you had a war. You ended up serving what? You had to pay your debt. Allegedly, your legal person was deemed in law to have to pay his debt to society. So you, unbeknown to you, was annexed to that legal person and went to pay the debt. When that in itself is the crime at foot. Simply put, we have ways to stop that now, don't we, Andy? I'm telling them that because
Absolutely.
Thomas has done it. You've done it a couple of. We've got ways to stop this crap now. We got to say it on tube. I don't make claims. Andy doesn't make claims that we can't support. With this knowledge, it's the end game. We can't win everything, but as he's saying, knowing who you are, simply put, the legal system has no remedy for a man in law telling the legal system who he is because he knows who he is. So in law, he takes what? The equitable, the remedy, you will move it. You know, it's not this easy, but ultimately you take the higher ground within the common law. So the common law and all the codes and the millions of them and the harm, injury and loss and then the equity. So therefore, when the equity and all that gets brought up, as we're showing you, it's the ultimate. It's like the colloidal silver
I'll go
water.
one
Yeah,
above that, mate. When you're in the divine creator's eyes, mate, when you're in the reflection of, you're above
yeah.
equity. You're above equity. You're above it all.
So
You're
yeah,
above,
sorry, go on. Yeah.
this is our dominion. We are granted dominion of this plane. And when you're in the reflection and you're in clean hands in honor of any claim, civil claim made against you, then there is nothing that can be said or done to you if you know who you are.
This is it. Preach, brother, preach. It's let me finish. Let me not finish, but you need to remember it's work tomorrow, and it's 12 o'clock now. I'll be a good brother and say, keep. Well, I know you're probably clock watching, but just give me a reminder because we do get carried away. Uh, right. What was I going to say? And on the bottom of that, so God, the creators you've just read in Genesis referenced, and I'm not going on the Christian or thingy tip. I'm just saying God, creator, Genesis. We've covered that. Jesus, trustee. All right, no problem. Son of God, I can understand that. Man, not Christian, not Catholic, not Protestant. We're saying man, the 12 tribes of Israel, all of us, man, God's chosen people, allegedly, apparently.
Man
So it is
creator.
written. Yeah, not just Israel being the chosen. So just let me get it through. God, creator, Jesus, trustee, man, all of us,
Well,
12 tribes, beneficiaries. Jesus, unfortunately, had to go on a bloody, if you go for this, and I'm not saying it's, you just hear me out. Jesus theoretically goes on a cross to die for man's sins. Now, Jesus, all right then, Son of God, it's understandable that man gets resurrected, comes back as a god, and starts carrying on until he goes off and does whatever. I'm not going to get into that. So then he's gone. So the Vatican, this is where the confusion is, and I just want to summarise it, brother, because you're doing an excellent job here as usual. I can help by saying to these that are confused, the Vatican step in when the point of crucifixion and take where Jesus was. So then they are now authorising for God, because Jesus is no longer on the plane. This isn't anywhere written, or it's just a summarisation from me to you after the documents that I've written and after Andy's explanations of, and that's how this trust system now is founded upon what we talk about. And these are the deep ones, and the ones that he's on about correcting and that we're on about are the ones that are in the public that are what would you say, they are unconscionable, Andy. They are resulting in us being in a wrong position ultimately, isn't it? Yeah,
right. They're just wrong. So coming back to Israel, it's going to be the next super state. Mark it on your calendar right here. I've just told you. Israel, when you spell it, it's Israel, which is the evil side. Real, it's Real with a hyphen in the center. But when man is real, it's RE hyphen EL, and when you real, that's reference Lord. That's the holy side of it. When you real, al at the end, you're on the dark side. So when you come into referencing L, anything EL at the end, that's the lighter side. That's the Trinity side, and that's where I advocate to be. So perpetually is real is that all the evil that comes from it is there because it's in the name of it. And when you look into who owns Israel, you'll see why it's pushing the agenda that it is.
Well, that was a heavy one. That was just like a Tomahawk cruise just sent through the chat. Oh, all right. I can say phonetically, I agree. My research and understanding, IS-RA-EL. And we've talked about London being L London, the square mile of London that the Queen has to get permission for to enter. And we've looked at why we
Who
asked
owns
the
Israel?
ELL at London. You've got ISIS, the Notre Dame in Swiss, Paris. The Swiss not name for Notre Dame is the ISIS that you've got that I've written
Isn't that
about when I was
Islam?
correlating.
Where does Islam come from? All these words, it all comes from the same
Is
place.
IS Islam begins with IS? Yes, it
It's
does.
all
You've got
less. It's all the same. It's all Catholicism.
Mexico. Did they not say LL? Like they got a lot in Mexico in the Latino language. That I'm thinking now with that L that you've just mentioned, and El Paso, for instance. But there is a lot more L prefixes and suffixes. Is the area what I learned that in. But good point, well said, and key part of key competence for identification and management of alleged or what authority kind of structures. There, you're talking, aren't you, and things.
Well, you don't have to
Alleged.
believe, you don't have to believe, and that's just the rules of the structure. You don't have to believe me either. You're going to have a look for yourself. But that's what's going on here.
I love it when you say that. So what's going on here? What? Yeah, no, I want to hear a little what at the end. But sometimes when you say that, can we please add a little what? That's what's going on here. What?
That's what's going on here. What?
I love you to bits. So, ISIS, I looked at. Remember in the olden days, whenever you saw the sign for $1, it was an S with
What is
two lines.
ISIS?
It was a,
ISIS is Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. What is ISIS again? Can you tell me?
oh well, it could be that. Yeah, some might say, brother, Israeli intelligence service. Yes. Wait, you made me forget. Dollar, original, back in the day, the S with the two lines through it, yeah? You know that one that we used to see?
Mm-hmm.
Two I's and an S. Dollar
Mm-hmm.
sign. Look at that. It was encoded into the bloody symbol for money. You've only got one S though because of the big S with the two lines to denote the dollar. ISI you've got really. There's 3 characters there. You'd use the S twice allegedly. This was phonetically constructed into the
history, mate, and you'll find that there was a family and that coincide with another family, and one is Battenberg and one is Rothschild, and they are the proprietors of Israel. And they are the ones that govern the world. All this rest is puppetry, China against Russia and Russia against America and all this other shat that you see on the Tell Live Vision is exactly that. It's all puppetry. The next super state to come is Israel. That's why they're wiping out the West Bank, the East Bank, Gaza. They're into Syria now. They've already taken
Iran, Iraq. Yeah, you're right.
But they've already killed everybody else that wanted their own gold system, their own substance behind their own currency. So, mark my words, that's what's coming.
So I've got to add on to that now that recently I was travelling, Radio 4. I was livid. I couldn't do an update or whatever because I was travelling. I didn't dare pull up and speak because I'd have probably got done for treason if I'd have been live commenting on such a subject. But it goes like this. The King of Jordan closed his borders to Syrian refugees. I'm like, oh, what? Hang on, he's a king. He's a king, and these are refugees, and he can't close his borders under the rules of the covenant from God. Kings cannot close their borders to the meek, to the needy, to the, I can't even go into it now. So in a nutshell, I'm like, okay, so who's the King of Jordan? I know the King of Jordan is. I know what Jordan stands for and does. I know who his friends are and what goes off, and I know about the foreign war policy as you do, and what rockets and how many millions go in foreign war from this landmass to Arab landmasses. And who? Wow, Judd, can you just believe it? A king closes when you're on a realm where a king says no to salvation, you know you're in the wrong realm, family. You know that you are in I don't know, not the real realm. This is not normal, to be fair. What we see.
That's not real. That's real.
Boris Johnson and David Davis should not have been allowed to jump out of the boat and get into the lifeboat and leg it in the middle of the most important negotiations since the end of the Second World War. Dagnammit, that is a crime against this nation, because what's happened now, the landmass is going to suffer the effect of the nation, because the nation has enterprise and business that wants to be guaranteed safety, and these blithering belligerent, I'll take your word, egregious public schoolboy gangs cannot do this, and they're being told to mess it up. I can't even get into this properly, but we are, as you've said, we need to knuckle down and stick to what's happening, and we need to be prepared for an alternative. Then if these guys don't know that there is an alternative, we're going to only have one, and that will not be the good one that we would like to see. That will be the one that the New World Order comes from the chaos. Mm-hmm. It's constructed, all of it, these moves, they're told what to do and when to do it. And
problem, reaction, solution. All is created. We are creators. We are the creators, mate, and we're at the hands of creators. So we've got to be as creative as them as defending ourselves against that which is imposed upon us. Simple as that.
Yeah, but I was happy creating bootlegs, smoking a bit of the Sheba, and on a little island, forgetting that we wasn't getting together 10 years ago going, I tell you what, Andy, when we get to like 40s and that, and if we're not doing that, we're going to link up, and what we'll do, this was planned, and we've got into this now, and I wasn't so much a spiritual guy, to be fair. I wasn't, when I was 20, no, I had no spirit really. I was out for myself. I thought I was going to be the next David Guetta, so I was being materialistic. That's fair and apparent. I'll tell you, this has come out the blue to me. It's knocked me for six. All of it has properly knocked me for six. You guys that are watching on this channel and that subscribe and find us think, oh yeah, it's all right for you. Well, no, it's not all right for us at all. This is anything but all right. Anything. I don't know what to say other than that. We have no answers for everything. We just tell you what we see, what we feel, and what we can articulate an intelligent, meaningful, fast response that will get you recognised, heard, and dealt with, rather than damaging somebody, not getting heard, and ending up with a summary judgment that again ultimately ends up with you and whatever your property being seized and imprisoned for what something should have been dealt with that you was, you know, unable to do because
Something you can disclaim or discharge with your pen. That's right.
We got Steve saying to you, Andy, live on the chat, and we've got the admins and that saying, you know, having these successes, and I've having successes and moving stuff about, and we're not winning everything, but you know, we are moving, and now is the time for man to realise if you don't know, if you watch this and you don't know who you are, who is I, what is I, you know, and stuff like that, then you need to seriously consider doing some research.
Without being egotistical or big-headed or nothing, Matt, I can't remember the last time I've lost a case. But a part of that would be the fact that I choose my battles. So there you go.
Yeah, but your last battle was put upon you, don't forget. So listen, I respect that. I respect that. But listen, but let's tell them one of your... Yeah, you did. You bloody did. And if you didn't have, you'd have had your family there to back you up on that front lawn, as I said. So the point is that the let's just say that one of the biggest things you could have dealt with was brought upon you unexpectedly through no actions of your own, wasn't it?
Absolutely, it was. It was
so you say pick your battles wisely, and I'm not. This is what we're good for, because you do it to me as much as I do it to you. We bounce off each other. So the other side of the coin is that wasn't expected. It came out the blue, and you dealt with it, and you dealt with it, and you did it controlled. You did it calmly. You did it non-vexatious. You didn't harm anybody, and you've got a resolve to it. So that's ultimately where others need to see that this wasn't planned. It was one of the biggest things he could have been faced with. You know, to be fair, it's a lot riding on it. You make a mistake on this, you're going to be sorry. And he didn't. And wow, yeah, unexpected. So again, he wasn't trained for it. He wasn't expecting it, and he's managed to come out of it. The barrel of brown, smelly stuff, smelling of some puckers.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's because I dealt with it in the first instance too. And, you know, first in line, first in time, and give it your due care and love and diligence that's required, and go in with a positive aptitude and the knowing knowledge and the fact that you're going to have remedy because of that which you know. Your knowledge is power.
And the power, I've withheld one thing that gave you power, and that's only out of respect, but it involves the numbers. I've done it on purpose, but you got power from some numbers, didn't you? I don't want to go too personal, but can we just say in general terms that both the day that Andy was made aware and the day that Andy had to go and have a meeting was very significant to him, because they were both dates from which are in the past, that both of those dates tied in with a family member, and something what happened to that family member on both of those dates happened some years later that was very, very monumental to this brother here, that made so monumental it tears him up. So I'll carry the thread and say that it's bedtime and we don't need to touch upon it too much, but there was some dates there, and he could have said that these dates were so important to him that he couldn't possibly deal with this issue, because it's so emotional and so heartbreaking to think of what happened on these two dates in the past time gone by, that he couldn't possibly deal with the trauma and the heartache of dealing with this massive situation. But he didn't. He took them dates and he went, whoa, they mean something. That means that I'm going to smash this. And he took them as a positive, as the family member being with him and by his side, on his shoulder, the spirit and the aura and whatever you want to call it being there. And for that, Andy, I'd just like to say respect, brother, because that takes a special mind. There's not many that do that, not many at all. To fight or fly, you went, and you can't stop champions, is what I'm saying.
Well, you know, might be to my own ignorance as well, because that's the lifestyle I've been, you know, I've had growing up. It's either fought or flight, and I've always stood and fought, and it's always been physical. But of the last, you know, 15 or so years, I've learned how to do it verbally. I've learned how to do it on paper, and very, very, very rarely now do I have to lift my hand in anger. Because if you deal with yourself correctly, and you deal with the next man with a bit of love and respect, and you'll get it back, and you'll get it in the legal and lawful realm too.
Yes, but I'm sorry to say this, but you kind of missed it there. We talk health and wealth. Yeah, we talk health and wealth because not because we're sensei masters or leaders of the biogenetic mental, state being of, but we say it is a key competence part of your everyday life. How you deal with the information that you are processing and how you deal with this. We call it what? We used to call it coincidence when we was little and children. Now
But
we
it's
call it something
synchronicity.
else.
Yeah, synchronicities, absolutely.
It
Alignment. It's all
speaks.
alignment.
It speaks to you if you listen, and it doesn't mean you can talk to it with a conversation. You have to be patient. You have to sacrifice and bend and flex and give, and you get a little reward. And if you can see that reward and you see it, it knows you've seen it. But you don't speak and you don't get to like tick a box. It's very weird. And it means personal to you, and God will speak, whatever it is, not God, the Lord, the creator, the consciousness, the matrix will speak to you. And you might not hear a voice, and then you've got to recognize. And if you are of that spiritual nature, like a lot of us are, apart from I dread to think what's going on in the chat room. I'm glad I put some blue spanners in for moderating, but yeah, I don't like to watch the chat room. I need to speak from the mind in the garden and just with you on this tip. And yeah, that's just that's key competence there. How to win is to get your mindset and put that voice to bed. Yeah, which is what we need to get them to know, Andy. Yeah, can you explain it?
It's a higher consciousness, mate. It's a high state of resonance whereby you've got that gut feeling that you speak of, and you're either going to run off or you're going to stand and fight. And if you're knowledgeable and you're factual on that which you're going to produce, mate, well, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to stand and do it and drop the fear. It's the courage required. People have lost the courage, the lion heart. It comes back to the yellow brick road, It's a tin man and lion heart and straw man. We're back there all the time. Stop.
Oh, I'll ring the bailiff after my Prozac settled in. Is that what you're saying then? Yeah, I'll have my Prozac and I'll have a couple of spliffs and have a coffee and a banana. Then I'll ring, and then it's 3 o'clock now. Have you rung bailiff? No, I'm waiting. I've had another tablet. These excuses build up and you're not in the right state of mind. You're dependent on other things, and it's a great step to. It does scare you. Your heart does beat. It does go in your throat. You do get, sweats and shakes. And I will tell you now, for me, it was not easy when I had to realise the courts that I've just paid thousands to in 2 years. I've just found out are a joke and haven't done me right. And I'm like, this is wrong. Mum, tell me. Mum, I went running to my mum at 25. Mum, is this right? Tell me about it. Oh, I'm not sure. It appears it is. What do you mean it appears it is? No, it's not right. You're a lawyer. You do this stuff. You lecture students. You're the head of Derby. Come on. She's retired now. I can speak of it. She's archived in the thingy, in the index and memorandum. So she's there, Julia Jeremita. And I'm like, come on, Mum, tell me. And she's like, well, the legal personality. I'm like, what do you mean legal personality? It's me, David. I'm not fucking on TV. I'm not doing tonight, Matthew. Tonight, Your Honour, I'm going to be Mr. Jeremita. No, I'm going to be the man himself. The fuck is this? It's not a show. You get an option. Oh, it is. It is a show. It turns out. Sorry, guys, but this is personal, man. And when you find out, you get angry and you think you can't possibly talk to a judge like that. He's the man that controls everything. Well, you shouldn't know, but if you need to, then know that you can. And you shouldn't.
Enact. It's how you enact. It's how you play your part. We've all got a role. It's all a part of the stage, the theatre of it all.
Or even a bailiff.
A bailiff.
A debt collector, they're not a bailiff, but a guy that's collecting money and that, when they have to ring up and there's a card come through the door and it says, if you don't get in contact with me, I can call between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. I will be around. The agent is in the area. Your goods are at risk. And you've got guys with the heart pumping and beating and confusing on medication. And what did you say earlier? Well said. Compos mentis. Yes, that's the one. Look at that one, guys, because if you're non-compos mentis, you are legally vulnerable, and you need to, if you just simplify that out, that gives you your argument to be left alone for a bit. And we can help you to articulate this without the need of a course, without the need of a video, just as someone to say, all right, hi, David, certain things we can keep in the mindset that will, but it's still, I will tell you now, it's not pleasant the first time you ring an agent, and most of them are recording, and you can get an app for the Androids that record your calls, and you can tell them you're recording, or her, not to be sexist, and explain everything and not contract. And if you're vulnerable, lay that out, or at best, try and get a friend to do it and authorize them to be your agent, like Andy's shown you on his videos, and I have. We become agents,
Listen,
lawfully
I,
agents, which
I,
is a common law sheriff, is it not, Andy, brother? Yeah?
absolutely, but I don't advocate going down the road of vulnerable if you're not. It does hold them back a little piece, but
No, I'm
ultimately,
talking about
yeah, I'm just
vulnerable.
saying,
I'm no health and
yeah,
wealth, vulnerables,
yeah.
tablets,
If
medication,
you are
anxiety,
genuinely
depression.
vulnerable, you will have a slight bit of relief from it, but it doesn't discharge or it doesn't,
No, no,
you
no,
know,
no. It's breathing space. It's because
yeah,
this civil
absolutely,
system is not. It's not criminal. You see, you're not a criminal, guys. It's a
absolutely.
financial thing, and
But by
nobody's getting
writing yourself
harmed.
down as vulnerable, also comes with other implications, which I wouldn't advocate going down that avenue. So, to deal with it first in line, first in time, fully compos mentis would be the way forward if you are. However, if you're not and you have someone dealing with it for you, you advocate that you are vulnerable. And if you are genuinely vulnerable, then that there are ways to have relief from that situation. However, if you're playing the card, it may have further implications. That's all as I'm saying.
And that's respect to you for saying that. That's called you've given them the full disclosure now of the power that they've got there with with telling the truth. Basically, it's a trust game. I started this by saying it's a health and wealth issue that we talk about, and I'm talking about the key competence for those that have got anxiety, depression, pre-existing mental orders. If you like a drink every day, I don't mind if you do. It's none of my business. Yes, but if you like a drink every day and things like that, it's a legal taxable thing, but it renders you, legally, medically, physically, lawfully, all of it incompetent because you're addicted to a taxable legal drug. Yeah, it's like being addicted to
Yeah,
much else. It renders
it
you
would leave you. It would leave
incompetent.
you.
You
Yeah,
may not
Lincoln.
know you are vulnerable. I will point out to you now, these things make you vulnerable. Yes, even though it's government and you buy it from the local outlets and it's taxed like the cigarettes are. If you smoke loads of fags and you can't afford to buy any fags and you're addicted to nicotine and now you're going on the street to pick up your dims to roll up. I've done that before in my time. I don't mind sharing with you. I've been on my arse. So what I'm saying in this chat now is that, yeah, you've pointed that out, but I'm going on the health and wealth because here's the clincher. There's a guy on YouTube called Mark something, might be Anthony, I don't want to say it wrong, but he's a Geordie guy, he does 5G. He said that oh wow, don't call them what they're not. I don't know where he's from. South Shields, Newcastle, Washington, I don't know. He's from that neck. He's a big guy. I'll give you the link before we shut this chat down. He said all around that area, there's been a massive increase in self-harm that they cannot explain, except it coincides with I have to be careful now for legal reasons, but it coincides with the recent technological advancement in the local community. And when I say an increase, he's saying up to 500 to 700% increase. And these guys now are getting random nosebleeds and they're feeling depressed, and they're not actually depressed, brother, but suddenly they wake up with a nosebleed and they want to feel happy, but they can't, and something's happening to man. So unfortunately you didn't know this, my thread to lead it to this was there's a technology wave happening of which I cannot confirm. Some of you in the know and on the YouTube channel know who this guy is and know if it's Mark Anthony, if I've got it right. If it isn't, I'm not to be held liable. I'll correct it before we shut the chat down. Somebody will post a link. He needs to chat to us, Andy. He's explicitly asked to speak to you and I later down the line when I return back from the travelling to discuss the protection of man against what's coming up. And if he's on it now, he said he's got a lot of paperwork with regards to international law and international regulations, of which court cases have already been, and he's got case law for and regulatory international advisory. I know I'm getting technical, but yeah, I was like, whoa, what's all this? And he went, Dave, look, I mean, in his Geordie accent, like a bit like Serge, like talking technical, but in a Birmingham accent. Look, it was just comical, but he says, listen, he's a big lad, Andy, and he's on it, and he doesn't stop, and he wants to chat, and that's why I'm letting everybody know on YouTube that we'll put a link in for his channel, but this man's got a massive heart, he's a massive personality, and he's working in his community, and he's bringing out something which is quite, if he can prove it, and I've told him in law, how to prove stuff and what evidence and proof is. And he's telling me about these bedroom high type technologies that have got regulatory guidelines to be 7 meters away from man, but yet this is at a bedroom height and it's 2.5 meters away from man's baby in a cot. And they're saying what's going on, and they've got evidence of sickness, and that self-harm, that just makes me sad. That really just, oh, that's the bottom line of all of this chat now. There's a new bit coming out from this guy that I'm going to help promote on this channel and share his videos, and I'll re-upload them with his consent disclaimer, and we'll analyse this as well, because I've talked previously about these masts popping up near schools and near old people's homes, and yeah, he's been doing some work. So that's why I brought all this up. Is sometimes it's not us that makes us feel sick and weak, it's the environment around us that does it, and we don't mean to be that way. I'll finish. It's bedtime.
Our cellular and molecular structure has been vibrated to such a rate it's out of our normal vibrating resonance.
Yeah, when he told me, mate, I know some bits about Tesla and stuff, and he didn't realise. I just went clock straight on. I went, I'm already on this. I said, I've got people in Sheffield emailing me left, right, and centre, brother. I says, we've seen how the corporations click the fingers, and just the public purse gets just drenched, and things happen. I says, we ask for stuff, and nothing gets happened. In fact, we die. It is the opposite. We ask for something, they do it, they get it wrong, and they kill us. And we pay more for it.
Can't even get potholes filled in.
We've had a downpour of rain, haven't we? Who's seen flooded roads? Who's seen flooded parks? Who just got a few days of rain, not even a few days, maybe 8 hours continuously, some thousands of metric tons of hit us. And it's just like, phew, yeah, everywhere's just waterlogged. No engineering skills, you're right. The public purse pays triple the amount and gets something
which... Harp on about the weather.
Oh, stop it now, you, with that. Do you know what time is, lad?
Bedtime.
There you go. Well, as much as we love you, stay on. I'm just saying.
I'm going to love and leave you if it's okay, mate. I'm going to go and settle down for a little while. I've got to get up at 0600. But if you're, settle down. My dog's going on a crazy half an hour. But if it's okay, if you're stopping on, mate, I'll just watch in the background and maybe write a comment. How's that?
You do whatever you want, my man, and big love and respect for everything you've done and that you're doing, and to you and your family, all of it. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're on target.
You better believe it.
Yeah, there's lots happening here, and it's fantastic. I don't think they realise what they're mixed up in or where they are. So the options that are available have all been given out to you in every way to keep us all in honour. And it's going to get busier and better. We have got some branding coming, haven't we? T-shirts and that. We're going to sort out some branding and some logos with the SPL's Pro purple.
It's how to keep yourself safe, how to keep your family safe, and how to keep yourself in good order. Health and wealth is key. There you go.
It is key. That's it. Knowing who you are, and yes. I don't know. It's easily led down the garden path. That's the thing, and it's amazing the power of a few words, Andy. There's a key point before you go. How much statutory regulation and coding did you use to articulate your defence? And this is key, isn't it? Importance. You just clicked me onto the last bit then. So to remedy your thing, go on. Yeah, did you use any? Did you have to remember any UCC, Admiralty, Maritime, contract, employment, tacit tort, anything like that law? Did you speak any of that?
Zero. I did speak tacit and tort, but I didn't speak anything else. I didn't speak legal. I didn't speak acts and statutes, procedures, protocol, legislation. I didn't have to quote any of that. I could have done, but ultimately you have to quote all that and then flick the jurisdiction back to where I was coming to the trust and equity anyway. So to save time and to save myself my own headache and recalling all them things, I can quote them. I just choose not to. I'll just leave all them by the wayside, go straight in as man, set the jurisdiction, set the relationship, and go from there. And very, very quickly you will have a remedy.
Can't add out to that. Well said. Perfect. Perfect. Tiger uppercut.
Exactly. See, that's how you got
Yoga
to go,
flame.
mate. Short and sweet, and bullet points, mate. Fact fiction. If it, you know, it's got to be factual. If it's, don't say anything. If you don't know, if you don't know what to say, don't speak for the sake of it. If there's a pause, if there's a silence, it may they'll get you to feel uncomfortable. Just stay silent. Don't say anything.
So when you getting told off, yeah, headmaster used to stay silent, and after a bit, somebody had always, shut up! What are you telling him that
Exactly.
for? Fuck, what's
Put
going
the
on here?
onus
You're
on
grassing
them.
up now, sweating in the. Oh, I know what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
been
puts the
there
onus
before.
back to them. They're expecting you to speak and they're saying nothing.
Squeaky bum time. The language of silence. I know it well. That's the thing for
Well,
me.
you can't stay too silent because, as we know, it's acquiescence. But however, if you can put the onus back to them in the meantime, stay quiet.
Yeah, for me, you see, it's an example to use. I would find that I do find that hard, but I am quiet and have been when needed to be because I recognise, you know, the eeriness about it all. The wolf in sheep's clothing. It's thinking. Leave it to think. To surmise. Yeah, well said, brother. Well said.
That's what it is. While the herd in the flock, that's what it is, mate. They're trying to surprise you, come round the back. But no, 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 no. So anyway, there you go, brother. It's been emotional, sometimes touching. It's time for me to go take some deserved rest. So I've had a very busy weekend, and it's been quite some emotional in its own right. So I'll love and leave you, mate, and I may be watching the background just while I peacefully drop off into my world of blissfulness. And if you crack on, I'll listen to you on the side if that's okay.
You can do anything. The People's Prince. There we go. Yes, you are the People's Prince because you turn people into men. That's what you're doing. So yeah, nice one. Thank you. Covered a good points there. Good lot of points and
That's all we can do,
articulated
brother.
it.
Stand up
Nice
to the
one.
age
Thank
of
you.
maturity, take the responsibility, take the ownership of yourself, do what's just right and proper, put these things to bed, deal with them in the first instance, mate, and you'll see right from it. Simple as that. There you go. That's what I can say on it. So good night, God bless, and I'll catch up with you all soon. Bonjour, peace and love.
Ciao, Bello. Good
Bye,
night.
Will.
2020, Mad Dog.
Thank you, brother. 10-10.
Nice one. Peace and love. Right then, let me take off the corporate jacket. We'll look at some comments. Maybe a wee charge. Maybe a camera. If you're lucky. Let's go. Let me reload. Did you watch the video links, guys? Did you watch the links with Jim Carrey? We're going to talk to Jim Carrey. Who's watched the videos? Oh my goodness! Look at you all. 19. That's not so bad. Let's go. Poor link. What's going on? Let me catch up. Oh no, my mental. How's it been? Has it been quiet? GoFundMe, buy a P100 camera, given my P900, which cost me $550 to one donate if you could help. Oh, nice one, P900. Yes, we like that. Carry on. Passed out in customers' homes. Man is law. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Carry on. Oh, good lord. Oh, I'm going to have to skim. I'm going to have to scan read. Chef, beautiful. That's where we go. Sorry, you could be one. I got you on now. Missed you. There we go. Nice one. Crash course, yes you can. We've got crash courses for you. We've got video links, Mr. Menza. Video links on SPL's. Look at SPL's channel. SPL's channel. I can't comment, can I? 1 minute. I'll find my channel and look at the playlists on the other one. 1 minute, can I? Cheeky. Mm. Mm. What's going on here then? We are in the chat. I've lost the video. That's alright. Where are we? Hangouts seems to have crashed. You can hear me though, that's good. I can't turn my video on. Oh. Something's weird happened. I need to get rid of that. Me eject. Haha. I got the power. Alright then, back to the chat room. Stay. I need Matthew. We need to ring Matthew, see if Matthew's about while I read the comments, see what he's saying. Get the man himself. See if Sheffield's online. So have a little quick job we can do. We'll warn him. He's going to be coming straight on FaceTube, as we call it. Systems are slowing down. Forgive the randomness. Trying to cram everything in before I travel tomorrow. So I'm going to be offline for a while. Then I'm going to be writing documents. I'm going to be away for a bit. You're going to have a silence. You know, a silence before the storm. Oh dear, you answered. Are you free? Pardon? I'm on YouTube. Do you want to go on speakerphone and chat?
What, on YouTube?
Yeah, I just thought I haven't rang you yet, but I'm doing loads and I'm going to be on for a bit. So do you want to have a chat whilst I put you on speakerphone, or do you want me to ring you after? Oh, I dropped him. No, I'm not going till tomorrow. I can't talk to you about that. Not till later. Much later. You end up ranting. You got anything to say? Just go. I'll put you on speakerphone. Yeah, I'll read out the comments. You can hear the comments. There we go. All is good. Right, back to it. Back to it. Just going through the comments, and then I've had a chat with Andy about lots, recent events, how we see stuff, what the civil legal system is, what the law is. You don't need to know all their codes and rubbish and 26 million of them. You know, how to conduct yourself, how we see ourselves, who's responsible, obliged for what, these kind of threads.
No. Say kind of doing if you like the money system and the system the way it is, with the kind of bullshit, you know, the boots and everything. And
you're a bit muffled. You sound a bit muffled. You sounded a bit muffled then. We couldn't. It was like you were talking through a sock.
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if you like this money system and this world and the way it is, then yeah, it's I know that's the problem, but it's not. Just saying, the system. That's the only result of that system. The system needs to change.
You can only save yourself from within, raising the oil and finding your Christ consciousness. Someone's on about the spinal fluid, raising the spinal fluid to the pineal gland, maybe something like that. I think they're on about here.
I don't know about any of that. All I know is that food comes from foreign countries to Tesco near where I live.
Asda, Aldi, Morrison's.
They're just access centres, and we distribute food and we get it all to certain places, but it's not taken to other places. So I don't know if spinal gland will help that, but it's logistical things that people need. It's how food gets to you. It's getting to us, but it's not getting to other people. What did he do? Trump, $500 billion of weapons or something to Saudis. Who did Saudis give them weapons to? ISIS.
Well, we've already been on about this, yeah.
And that's why this system needs to. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit. You can't really say bullshit enough when you're describing this system. You could actually, honestly, you could just do a 10-minute bullshit. Just going bullshit. But yeah, so, yeah, that's what I mean. It's, yeah. When I think of spinal cords, I think of road networks and logistics of getting food to people in very far away places. But we could airdrop it if we needed to. Well, there is no roads, can't really get it to them. Yeah, but we've got planes. And we'd normally drop bombs at them, so why not drop food?
Yeah, they could, yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be saying it too far out of reach if I was saying there was some Terry Finnegan down there.
Terry Finnegan, stop it. You're on tube. They don't know what Terry Finnegan's code for. You can't speak.
It's not code for out. It's just I'll just slip in a word when I choose to replace the different words. But yeah, essentially, when they want to kill somebody that they don't like, i.e., mainly brown people.
Terry Finnegan. You just you're glad you explained that. You've got your own babble, haven't you? We speak babble, and you've got your own babble. Yeah, you've babbled the babble. He's babbling his babble. He's having a babble, mate. Yeah, he's babbling his babble.
It's just yeah, very strange. I call that this what's going on with Alex Jones, and people go, oh, I haven't watched him for years, but when I watched him for a bit, and then I quickly saw that he was very comfortable making loads of money, and then you do a bit of research into him, and then you think, oh, that's why he never ever criticises Israel. You know, he's just paid, he's just a puppet. But he's got a cult and a following, but we're just that. When you see him saying, when somebody says, oh, both, no matter who you vote for, they're both corrupt, they're both controlled by something, blah, 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 and then suddenly he's saying, yeah, you should vote for Trump. So hold on, and he's selling Trump T-shirts. But yeah, it's just free. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't understand this world, and I can't accept it. Nobody can make you accept a world that's stupid. And make out like you're stupid for not accepting a stupid world. Massive, yeah. Are you stupid? No, actually, I'm not. That's my problem. You lot obviously are.
Care Mayor says public companies offer services. It's contract law, but I would like to explore the fact that public companies are often operating on an agency capacity, and as such, you might need to look at what an agent is and an agent capacity, because if you are the creditor and the sole, authorised agent for the birth certificate, the family trust, the bond, and all of this, as we've been exploring, then they are not, contract law. It isn't a contract we've explored before in a meeting of the minds in law, and what the signatures and autographs are, and what a true contract would be, an agreement, what tacit and tort is, and such things that we, suffer. So I would just like to say that in relation to that, it's a contract, you know, public companies, it was put to us as contract, but when we ultimately recognise who we are within the realms of, or we consider the other plausible options of which we could be operating in bankruptcy and viewed upon, and then look at the contemplate the different realms, it's not necessarily contract. An example would be a credit card. A credit card, you are given a credit card. The credit card is not your property. It belongs to the property of the credit card company. Yeah. Another example would be a pawnbroker. Another example would be a pawnbroker where you give your property to that shop and they give you some kind of printed note we call money, allegedly, and then you also get a ticket, and that ticket means that you've got authority to that product and item, whatever it is you've pawned for so long, and then that's a kind of a contract, but it's an agreement really, but you look at it like a contract really, but you know, it's how you look at these things. But go on, I've finished now, Matthew, off you go, brother.
When he said public company, I thought he meant like utilities and stuff like that, and that, but they don't provide services.
It could be anything, yeah, any of them, even them.
For them services anymore, and like a bank, they're not services, they're just enslavement mechanisms, and you know, like handcuffs and change. But no, we shouldn't be paying for any services. Services should be provided free. There should be places for people to access food, access education, access housing, accessing places to go, rock climbing, anything. All the activities that you have to go and pay for now should be provided. You know, it's just, we can create a world of abundance.
Yeah, we can. We're in a world of abundance. It's already abundant. It's only a man-made scarcity that leads us to believe that it's bloody overpopulated with 7 billion, when after all the genocide, world wars, horror, tsunamis, earthquakes, Fukushimas, everything else, atom bombs, Hiroshima, and you think, you're telling me to get the, no way, 7 billion, 7 billion, never been, man-made scarcity. Africans are starving because man doesn't want to feed them, because when we feed the Africans, they're not going to buy an iPad, they're not going to go and get the internet, they're not going to go and buy a Tesla, so they're of no use to anybody, allegedly, which is why we're still feeding Africa 40 years on from oh wow.
You've got to look at Africa, yeah, it's to keep you in check. It's to keep you in check. It's like
the fear. Oh, you don't want to end up like, you know. It's the point. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's politically why. I've got a mindset. My opinion is in my head that.
Well, it's not an opinion. I think it's fact that it's a product of us. It's planned. It's like all the wars. They've got to keep us fighting amongst each other, divided. You know, they've got to. It's part of the system for them. Otherwise, people will just see it. They'll see that we could just automate stuff. They'll see that, you know what I mean? But that's why they've got to be kept busy arguing over stuff. And when people realise that, then things will change. But yeah, they're there to scare the shit out of you. To think, oh, it's bad here, but at least I'm not in Africa. You know what I mean? And it makes you kind of think, oh, it's all right, I'll pay my council tax. I don't mind having paedophiles running prolific through the elite, coming boys and little girls and doing what God knows what, and just getting away with it. And then when they die, it comes out, or 2 years before they die. Some fucked up shit. Like I say, but none of that will exist. None of the poverty in Africa will exist. None of it has to exist.
It's unforgivable, you know, when they put it on when you're eating your dinner at tea time, it's to make you numb to everything else. They do that for a reason. It's not by the chance of that whilst you're eating your daytime, evening meal, there's a high probability that you're going to see some kind of, you know, nastiness and misfortune and misery. How can man sit there and tolerate that kind of misery and denial to fellow man while stuffing your face with whatever you're stuffing your face with? It's not even real food that comes out of plastic that actually is plastic. Oh, wow.
Quote from Einstein. Einstein said you can't solve the problem with the same thinking that caused it. And that's essentially when you apply that to all these adverts that say, give £3 a month, these little donkeys won't suffer anymore. Give £3 a month, this little lads can have water for them. You know, all that, it's bullshit. Money's not going to solve that problem. It's money that causes that problem. So how the hell will money solve it? Even if you go over there and build some in hospitals, build these little schools and all this, and do all this, our governments are selling dodgy fuckers weapons that are going to run through that territory and flatten everything and rape and kill everything in the pot. So you can't have development. You can't have, you know, it's just it's been played that way. And then they can say, look, the savages, why don't they help people? And you hear people say, oh, I don't understand why they breed so much. Why do they have so many kids if they can't feed them? Have you ever never looked at nature? Crocodile has about 40 eggs because there's only a few survive. You know, our kids survive. There's not many. You don't hear many kids dying young in these countries. You know what I mean? But they do over there. They're not likely to survive long.
Yeah, I know.
If the child to die, because you need your big family to survive to do things, and yeah, they're just idiots. Well, they shouldn't be asking that question. Why do they have so many? You know what I mean? Why do we fuck them up? Why do we steal all their shit? Why do we live off the backs of them? You know what I mean?
I'm not laughing at them, I'm laughing at your bluntness. I like it. Sorry. I'm not laughing at the misfortunate, I just like the way my brother Matthew puts stuff. That's why we're ringing up.
I don't sugarcoat nothing because at the end of the day, people watch Hollywood shit all the time, simulated murders, even in cartoon form, you know, and your subconscious don't know difference. You know, so his conscious knows that it's just a film and it's just a man looking somebody's throat, but it's called desensitisation.
That's it, desensitisation.
And your brain, when in certain circumstances, when it's fight or flight, a decision, your brain picks a response. That's why many people have said these words. I'm sorry about what I said last night, because there's just something's happened and response, boom, your subconscious spoke. And then it's like,
oh, like when people are drunk, yeah.
But it's hard to keep controlling your subconscious. I'm not claiming to be no perfect, you know what I mean?
No, we both know that, and no message. No, I too am like that, yeah.
I shouldn't do it, but sometimes I get like, what he said, that philosopher bloke, what's he say? He says about when this guy says, what about if somebody cuts you up in traffic, don't you bother? And he's like, no. He's like, he says, I treat it like a gust of wind. You don't personalise a gust of wind. You don't, you know what I mean? It's what it is. It's cut me up. That's it. Done. You know, but I'll still be like, ooh, bugger.
Oh, you sound like Sovereign Smith. It's what is. Yes, that's what we say. What is, is, yeah.
It is. You have to accept things for what they are, but that doesn't mean people get confused with philosophy and stuff. Something can have double meaning and be taken wrong way. So some people can say, so there's no we can do about it. We just have to let things be. And see that so much bullshit and see that so much wrong and rubbish. You know what I mean? And the system's just
Yeah, you have a conscience, a duty of care to fellow man. There should be a standard of acceptance around the realm, you know.
I've heard you say about sacred contract, but that's the only sacred contract that needs to be set up. The declaration of all the world's resources, common heritage for all the world's people, and all the people working together for that kind of thing. I'm not on about one world thing, and it could still be different, separate countries, separate religions if you want it, but the priorities, this shit needs to get sorted first. We need to build some systems that thing of it, so we're intelligently managing the resources that we've got. Other than that, it's do what you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We don't need to keep making smartphone after smartphone after smartphone.
People wouldn't smoke, we wouldn't do stupid stuff because you'd be brought up, you know what I mean?
We won't be manufacturing vehicles using iron ore and minerals and rubbers and plastics and polluting just so vehicle manufacturers can park them up in their thousands on car parks. And then, you know, everything that's happening.
I saw one over there.
Wow, it doesn't. It's just a system that it has to. Even though there's no demand for these vehicles, the machines have to still make them because if they don't, the whole system collapses. I'm like, what? What?
Bring a new model out, and it's got a convention itchy to buy that new model, but nobody would buy the new model if they could get one for like a third of the price of the new one. They can't start selling them ones, the old ones. But it's, for example, your money gets wasted and resources get wasted. I remember seeing one of them exploring videos, and they go down this thing, you're trying to get into a bunker in England, it's a big nuclear one, and then just cast aside and don't need it. But yeah, they were in like the worst part of it, the full game to the top of it. They were 100 foot underground. But there were all sorts of machinery and everything underneath there, stuff that's been bought and paid for by a taxpayer, your money, and just spent, and then, because, don't need it, don't they? And just left it down there. All metal, all tools, everything's just left down there to rot.
Oh, wow.
They'll pay for it, you know what I mean? It's just an endless fantasy of resources. That's what they get to use, your money. But you don't see any benefits from it. You don't see healthcare. Look at Cuba, it's got one of the best healthcare systems, but it's been cut off. It's under sanctions from everywhere. They've got no nice Hyundais, hybrids. But they're managing to look after the people. Not poison them.
Nah. Gaddafi was, yeah, I remember this. Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Cuba, who was managing Cuba?
Cuba, Fidel Castro.
There we go. That's the one. That's why we're Fidel Castro.
Then you've got Che Guevara, and he called out Russians because they were being copied. And he thought that's why he was whacked and off. Send him on a mission that he won't be coming back from. He's better off a martyr. You look into that. That's what happened there. We're calling them they were funding Cuba, Russians. Basically, they were funding them for money. And
allegedly.
No, it was. They relied on Russia. They relied on Russia for their money because it got cut off from the world. America cut them off. Everyone thinking all that Cuban Missile Crisis, so they were relying on thinking. But Che Guevara, he didn't give a shit. He called people out, and he said, "You know what I mean? The money, they're getting money from America, Wall Street. They're supposed to hate capitalism, this, that, and other." And he called them out on it. It were all started from capitalism.
I know. I know this bit.
Comes from money from bankers in America on Wall Street. It wouldn't exist otherwise. So I talk about these Tommy Robinsons. They all get funded. All these people that you see successful. Why nobody pay? Tell you what, someone pay me to go out. I'll put call out. I want to go out and ask questions. Why we live in this bullshit system to these politicians and people that's supposed to represent us. Well, I can't do that because I have to work. You know, and I mean labouring work, hard graft work.
Under floorboards and lot.
But yeah, so I'd prefer to go out and do that. But why ain't nobody funding me? So we'll see how many people fund me then. You know what I mean? Tommy Robinson, he's got
nobody will fund me. I've tried to get funding. It don't happen. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm not evil bird. No, I'm saying I'm not asking things. I'll go out and ask questions on behalf of you. Tell me what you want. Do you know what I mean? Well, I know what to ask them to make them look stupid because they're all in it for money. All of them pretending to love you, to be doing stuff for you, be benevolent. None of them are. They all see you with a little pound sign or a dollar sign on your forehead or whatever money is. It's all they see. You're just cattle. Just cattle.
Wow. Cattle and chattel.
Oh yeah, to them. Anybody that's got Sky TV, oh my God. Pay for your own demise. That's the best bit as well. To get us to pay for our own poison, our own suffering. It's amazing. Yeah, very good like that. When you look at it, it is funny.
Yeah, I pointed out Jim Carrey, the show, the clip, YouTube, the video that explains there's a 2-second puppet's hand on Jim Carrey's crotch for a family tea time show. It's got subliminal sexual messages in the beginning sequence of the promo that's currently going off. It might be the beginning of the. You could see this video sequence. It's 2.5 minutes long though, so it's never going to be the beginning sequence of the. But these kind of scenes could be used in the beginning sequence or the full sequence of the, you know, 2 segments that run between the half-hour slot that it airs. They're roughly 11.5 minutes each segment, minus the adverts, you know. Including the adverts, it'll run a half-hour segment with adverts for 30 minutes, and in there you get the subliminal cuts of a bit like the cinema. Me and Andy, I was saying to Andy, it's programming at its finest level to do with sex magic now, children's puppets and penises portrayed by Jim Carrey and the pink pervert puppet from Jim Henson's collection that you never saw. Even makes me wonder, I can't even go there, but we've got proof of claim. We've claimed about Tavistock. We've claimed about the MK Ultra. We've claimed about the patent for the US patent number for the office that holds the cathode ray tube, that CRT, Charlie Romeo Tango invention, which is mind manipulation, because if that object that is technology can manipulate the human psyche to make it cry, to make its heart race, to make it sweat or anything like that, then that machine there is called a mind control unit. And when I and Brother Matthew was wee Burns, children, you know, playing around in a Christmas time around our relatives' houses, we got the luxury of probably seeing a Radio Times lying around with these guys that had the Sky moved from terrestrial, and they'd got the Sky TV. I'll tell them about, you know, and we didn't know them, but we see now this TV, the one-eyed God, the subliminal, the pictures.
Called it programming, guy.
The signal. There's a signal that comes. There's a signal that comes with the TV that it emits now. There's a refresh rate and a hertzium rate that far surpass that, and it's just amazing. They even spy on you now, I've heard, and record your voice for alleged advertising. Thank you, Samsung.
So you've even got to be careful with YouTube and everything. That's what I mean. You've got to be careful who's walking through your dirty through your mind. That's what
Well, I've had that through the indoctrination, thank you, and this doctrine that we've woken up out of. I've cleaned, I've tried, I've got, if you've noticed on my forehead, I have a dark crease. I often unzip and rinse because, I can't get rid of the prints though. I keep...
Make sure your brain's washed.
We're redoing that now. This is the education again, what we're doing.
You can still, that's what I mean, they've put out, I don't think people grasp the...
simplicity,
the severity of how much information that they control, that they give you. That's what I mean. They don't want you thinking about. Well, I think there's so many videos on flat Earth, on every kind of conspiracy, on everything that it matters. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, on grand scheme of things, it don't matter a fuck. You know what I mean? But it gets people talking not about what they should be talking about, you see. That's the thing, you see. You know, whatever can distract from them clinging on to power. That's why all this paedophilia is so prolific. That won't be. That would not be. And if you went to if you put an automated system in and like a central computer, and you automated stuff, you took away governments and you took away that power, you took away the money system and you provide access and stuff, yeah? Then people that wanted to try and continue those secret societies and try and continue these pedo rings and that, they'd be soon found out, because you'd be able to implement measures, right, that you can't implement in this society because it's invasive and it takes your rights away and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But easily in that environment, you could have it so kids are only ever in a place where they're recorded.
Yeah, safeguarded, sovereign.
And the computer would be all programmed with certain, do you know what I mean? What's acceptable, what's not acceptable, do you know what I mean?
Can I pause you? Hurry up.
It'd tell you straight away, do you know what I mean?
Listen.
That guy's dodgy.
I've looked into all of this, and we've had chats before, and I've had chats on.
As well, sorry, that a lot of that abhorrent behaviour. One thing, you're teaching kids Talmud. If you get a baby and teach kids Talmud, you know what I mean, Talmud to it, or if you get a baby and teach it, it'll believe that anything. That's why you get kids believing in Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, and all other bullshit. You know what I mean? Getting scared to go to sleep at night because they believe stuff so easily. So you can program children to believe anything and everything. You know what I mean? That's why people of different religions or different...
They know this. This is why we get indoctrinated from 6. There was a famous man that said a speech about controlling money and indoctrination and education or schooling. Mark Twain, Tesla's one of his mates, never let school get in the way of her education, you know. But anyway, I've nearly pause a pin because I need you've gone on and I wanted to speak.
Well, educated people wouldn't be susceptible to that. You know what I mean? And, that wouldn't be put in them, so it wouldn't exist.
You said no better because they'd have a parallel, reality of which they're unaware of because they're not been told, like the lie we're born into. We didn't know the options that could be or would be or should be available that are tied in biblical prophecies and in common sense and common law. It's put around you and hidden in sight. But right, what I wanted to say was, we've had chats and I've looked in to a lot of stuff accidentally and then with intent afterwards. And when I say with intent, I mean properly, like for a few weeks or days and weeks and writing stuff out and drafting documents and chatting and just weird stuff. To you weird, to me normal. Or to others it may be considered weird to fixate. But when you got ADHD, it seems that you can have like hyper moments where you see me like a Tasmanian devil and I'm going blah 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 blah, and when I'm low I'll have a real severe low level where I feel like just like lead and I'm proper low and I have like a hyper low, if you could imagine. And when I've got to get all this out, so please wait. When I have a moment of focus, I can focus normally, which is not just normally, or I can have a hyper focus, which is why I've got fixated by accident within law, unbeknown to me in the court procedure, high court with my kids. It's property now. And so I've looked into the legal system and the constructs and the language and the phonetics and the alleged common law and the history and the lineages and the Babylonian, the Syrian, the Persian, the Akkad, all of it. You've given me some of it, Matthew, to be fair, and then I've gone and expanded on what you've initially given me to let others know I didn't choose all of this, but the law bit I kind of did, the science bit mostly, yeah. So I've looked at the Canaanites and the certain types of biblical, we'll say. We'll keep it clean, but it's not clean at all. Yeah, we'll go King Herod as well. He killed a few babies and they had to put lamb's blood on doors, allegedly. So we'll hold it in. So throughout these eons, when I say eons, I mean over 5,000 years, yo. I mean throughout these thousands and millions of millennia, they have the other one, Baal, Baal. I feel sick saying the words, but Baal worship, the bull. Santos, thank you. Astrotheological connections with the law, the lineage, and all of that. They've done sick shit to our blood, and they've done it for thousands of years. And this is nothing new. This vampirism, the stuff that I've learned about what a true vampire, what the moon does, the moonstrual cycle, the emperors and that have I can't even say it on. I need to put warnings on before I go any deeper on, because I haven't put it on the video description. But I'm about to talk about women and blood and just what these hidden areas of these lineages that go back dark and deep areas of different, like not Kronos. Is it Kronos, man, from 32,000? Is it something 25,000-ish? We've been Kronos from. Oh Lord, it's wow, thousands of millions of, and I've accidentally, but just recently stumbled upon some things that have made me feel quite uneasy about the treatment of blood, the sacrifices, the Tower of Babel. It's all like imagery just hitting me, but it's been going on a long time, brother, long time. And it's all in the name of giving to the god, the sun god. Initially, it was a sun god, apparently, and weird shit.
And the sooner we realise it, the sooner sooner you can go and demand shit and say, nah, then. Because there's fucking more of us. What they've done is bred a farm that's too big now, that they know that they could get overrun at any point.
Yeah, it is too big.
Farm. You should listen to that. What's that? And have a look at that video about dead presidents. Can you bring shit up? Pardon me for swearing. Can you bring?
Not right now. Both handsets are in use. No, I'm going to go outside. But later, yes, you can tell the room, and the room you can tell the room. Yeah, listen, because we're on YouTube Live. You tell the room, and they will get it and pick it up, won't they? Because they're on live. You tell them.
Dead presidents in the video, and it's. I think they took the video from that where the animals take over the farm, but they do a nice tune to that.
Yeah, I've seen it. You've shown me this. I remember it, but
it's a good tune. It's a good tune, but they put it into it. Yeah, but they do it in a bit of a violent way. I don't want violence. There isn't no need for any violence.
Peaceful. Yeah.
All the
civil disobedience, not civil obedience, is what we say. Really.
It needs public debate. It needs public debate. It needs people to say, look, this is what's coming. You can't avoid it. You know, all you factory owners, you big corporation owners, you CEOs.
Kiva Systems, Kiva.
As soon as somebody invents a machine that will make stuff or take what replaces people's jobs and does their job faster, you buy it and use it. You don't say, no, I prefer to have these 1,500 people working in my factory because it makes me feel better because I'm supporting their families and all this. And you know what I mean? You can fuck that shit. How much is that machine? 30 grand, 150 grand. It doesn't take any breaks. It doesn't piss and moan. I'll have it. Boom. And it's automated. That factory's automated. Then people are out. It's called technological unemployment. This is what I'm talking about, people. It's coming for you all. If it doesn't affect you directly, it will affect you indirectly with knock-on effects. And this is what stuff that's going to bring your money system and your economies down. And this is what, when people like Tommy Robinson, people are going to blame, foreigners and just turn to killing each other. It's just stupidity, basically. But so people need to talk about that. What we're going to do about that. You know what I mean?
We're working on that alternative. Wait, let me answer. We're working on the resource-based economy with Jack Fresco. We're working on 0 point energy. We're working on making man realise who he is within the realms of how to utilise real laws. We're doing a lot. We need more help. We're not doing enough. We are doing enough, but we're not doing on the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, we're thousands of years behind this game. Yeah, we're too slow.
It can happen. You could change face of this planet in 10 years. Look how stuff happens all the time. You know what I mean? They just bomb shit out of the country like Iraq for 10 years and it's fucked. You know what I mean? It's totally different to how it was 10 years before. So
the cradle of life. The cradle of life, yeah.
You can destroy countries like that. So why the hell can't you build cities and, you know what I mean? And they all rebuild these cities and that. So don't tell me can't build
Didn't you show me a city that they've built that's empty
Ghost cities in China, there's loads of them. There's China, there's cities that'll house billions and millions and they're empty. So
hasn't China built a new city made of bottles on the ocean as well? Haven't they made man-made cities or islands?
Man-made islands, right? Wow. Sand up and just making an island.
But why? But they've done that for commercial trade, commerce.
No, it's a buffer zone. It's a buffer zone, so people can't wander the ships into their territory.
I thought they was also manufacturing and getting around some kind of laws. I need to investigate that further. I think there's more than one reason.
They're setting up defences because once you've built that big island, you can put big rockets on it and shit like that, and you've got a bigger reach to extend your reach. It's defending your territory. Territory in this system, people have to do that. The countries have to do that because everybody invades each other and robs stuff and says, we've got all these UCC codes, and next minute, where were they when they were invading a sovereign country, namely Iraq? You know what I mean? Under guise of weapons of mass destruction that turned out to be not true. So that's false, that's lies. It's
the Chilcot report. David Kelly shot. David Kelly was shot. The Chilcot report. I remember this.
You know what I mean? It's just it's how they roll. They're just doing it. While we're all watching X Factor and all this, they're just doing it. Well, you're debating whether things are round or flat. They're just doing this. Crack on. While they're doing that, let's crack on.
The trees are falling. Sheffield trees, all the trees in Sheffield are coming down for the technology. Right? Even the trees.
When people start saying, hold on, I'm a truck driver and I'm driving this lorry 5 days a week, and there's truck drivers in job centre that can drive this lorry. Do you know what I mean? It's only because of money. The thing is, so you can transition loads of stuff. That's what people need to talk about. Transition. We're out of Ireland demanding this and figuring out. You get these people swap over there. Because it is a bit weird, but yeah, everything will be seized. All companies will be seized because they're all ours. All the roads, all the infrastructure, everything is all ours. We paid for it. We built it. Elite people didn't pay for it. We built it. We paid for it. They took stuff that weren't theirs. People can't just say this is our land, this is my land. Oh, look, there's loads of gold and tenancy. Do you know what I mean? No.
Yeah, the church blessed Christopher Columbus's boat, and the Aborigines were sorted out.
If there's gold in the land in a country, that gold should be the country's to build hospitals. To be dug up.
Africa's a mineral-rich country. Those guys should be made then.
Like Africa. That's
yeah,
what
there we go. Let's go Africa.
Hospitals. It should be flourished. You know what I mean? But our countries just say no. We're taking it. We're robbing you. We're doing. You know what I mean? We're blagging you. But people in power that they know is not going to prosper. They're just going to do nothing with it. Plundered money. In fact, they're just going to put it in Western banks. So
central banks, yes. Battenberg, we've mentioned Battenberg and Rothschild, yeah. But central
the resources, and America exports paper and gets real tangible stuff. That's what I mean. They're on a rate bag. But I don't know. It's just what goes around comes around. They're the laws that matter. That's what I mean. When we start working in harmony with those laws, the universal laws, construct laws, God's laws, whatever you want to call them, but there's laws there that when you follow them, good shit happens. When you don't, bad shit happens, and we're not following them, and they're getting us not to follow them, to go and kill each other, because then they know it comes on them. And yeah, so it's us that builds everything. It's us that pays for everything. And it's us that destroys everything and pays for everything to be rebuilt, pays for it to be built, pays for it to be destroyed, pays for it to be rebuilt over and over and over.
Over and over and over and over and over.
Consumption.
Like we
pay for the wars. We pay for it.
Over and over again. Like a monkey with a miniature. I know that tune, yeah.
Over and over again. I won't have no tune in my head. Your subconscious were kicking in.
No, I've put a tune. I've used my creativity to your text.
That's a tune.
There's a tune in my head that it's got a monkey, and it says like a monkey with a miniature simple. They came out and just told you how it was, and didn't last very long because they told you how it was, but they were quite good. Those of you that have got Shazam, yes, have a go. It was all right. But quite a lot of music tells you how it is, doesn't it? Bob Marley, you've got to fulfill the book. Only yourself can free your mind from mental slavery. What's mental slavery, I hear you ask? Well.
Many forms of mental slavery.
It's all given to you.
That's why I'm not a member of any organisations. There's many organisations I respect, but they're all susceptible to corruption.
Look at the word. Organ is at iron. Organisation. Nation. It's got nation in there.
It's just, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
What's one of your favourite topics of YouTube that you found? What can you say that YouTube has brought you? Has it brought you enlightenment, in friends, contact,
it brought
wisdom?
Me knowledge.
Let's talk about the tube that we're on. Go on.
The tube, it brings endless knowledge. Essentially, it is a way of tracking people. Let's not finger it. Yeah. You know, like now, we're giving away our thoughts, our feelings, and that's what millions of people are doing all over YouTube and that. So they can identify. It's a way for them to identify, engage dissidents, you know, people against them, and you know what I mean. So never forget that.
We do go private. We have got private facilities. We don't always go public.
In a true automated resource-based economy, this would be just uniting the world because everybody would just talk. You know what I mean? Everybody just bump it. But I am aware that this can, you know what I mean? It is a tool to be used against us. Same as Facebook was, and you know what I mean. Look back 30, 40 years. Do you know what I mean? they didn't have any information on anybody. They didn't know what people thought in their houses, talked about free, like, do you know what I mean? This way, they know exactly what's coming. Like if all YouTube started talking about resource base, you know what I mean? They'd know. Shit, we're going to do something about this. You know what I mean? And then, so always remember what it is. But you've got to sometimes you got to try and use that.
Yeah, but when I first looked at, we haven't been to uni. I don't mind saying, well, I haven't. I don't know about you, brother, but I can only speak for myself. Wait, hold up, back it up, Ecky thump, lad, Ecky thump.
Just telling me when give my education. I didn't feel finished the last 2 years. That's it.
Just let me tell you that when I looked at Eric Dollard's principle of applied resonant theory, frequent sun, magnetic, I just exploded. I thought I knew everything. I thought I know it all. I am Jack the lad. I know everything you could ever. And then he goes, here, have a look at this. I went, what's this? He goes, have a look. I went, all right, I'll have a look. I saw a chalkboard, I saw pens, I saw diagrams, and then he goes off on one. I'm like, what do you mean he lives in his car in the desert and he does a radio show and he's got a YouTube channel and he talks about what is that quantum mechanic type thing? Eric, it was Hutchins, John Hutchins, and all that crazy technology. It's you watch it and you think it's a joke at first. You think, no, they're just having a laugh, these guys. And resonant frequency with the copper and the magnets and ice and the things that we've looked at. It's truly mind-bending, absolutely mind-bending.
Can I interject?
I've done, yeah, I yield.
Only quickly, I only want to say one little thing, right?
What it does.
No, I'm about to say, just imagine all them people like your Bob Becks, all these people, yeah? Just think of all these inventors that's had them. They've had that. Like, Dollard is obviously, you know what I mean? You look at they'll have had parents that are educated and that. So you see when a child gets a good, you know what I mean? Don't get full of bullshit. You know what I mean? Eric Dollar, I forgot what age, he was creating a little star. He created a star in his garage. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Shit like that. He was only a nipper. They were not saying shit at school because they were like, fuck me, do you know? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, so it's not that he was special. He was given the right environment, you know? So you just think in a resource-based economy where education is paramount at the forefront, and also it's not like you've got to learn it. You know what I mean? Kids are guided to let them choose what their interests, what sparks their, you know what I mean? Let them flow.
You could search billions and change, couldn't you, for that? What's he called? He's done that. Stage one.
And like the research centres, what billions in change has done, there'd be one of them in every single city. How many cities is in a country? One of them in every single city doing banging out ideas and going like that. That's what I mean. World's Fair would still exist. People would be going all the time to see what new services and things is, but it wouldn't be bullshit products that don't do anything and don't serve any purpose. It'd be shit that benefits us and makes our life easier.
So, you know what I mean? Could I just go one further and say that money I view as a technology? How would you view money, and would you view it as a technology? Off you go.
Money's it was useful to get us to a point, but there's a point when you get to, you know what I mean? It's like horse and cart. We got to a point and somebody invented an engine, an electric motor. Obviously, something dodgy happened with
electric motor,
and that was blackballed. Yeah, it was superior, but we ended up having shit combustion engines. But either way, we ended up going from horse and cart and getting rid of horses. And in turn, we get you look at the decline of, I forgot what disease it is that you get from playing in horse shit. It was prevalent when everybody's on horses. But yeah, you look at the decline of the horse and car and the increase of the motor car, and then you can cross-reference that directly with the decline of this disease, what you get from playing in horse shit. Incidentally, they still fucking give kids injections for that.
Oh,
well, if you live in the city and you don't play in horse shit, you don't need that injection. Your baby don't need that injection. If you're in a farm and you're around horses all the time, yeah, fair enough.
But so the motor, the electric, we got the combustion instead of Tesla's far superior electric motor. Put by the wayside for Henry Ford and the conglomerate of
But what I'm saying, that's just because of oil. But that's what I say again. Money, interest. That's direct result of money. You see, something was better, but they went with the shitter option because it kept him happy.
All the oil spills, all of them oil slicks, the BP oil slick, all of them.
That's what I mean. It's just knackersack. Nagasaki.
The Gulf
and it's
fires,
been-
when Saddam set his oil wells on fire and we had to go and put them all out.
You
How
can
many
harness-
accidents? How many accidents on the oil rig alone? Oh my days!
You can turn waterfalls into. That's what he did. He harnessed the power of thingy. So we could turn all these waterfalls around Wales. We could just build massive stations there. Do you know what I mean?
Was it you that told me about a form of radiation, nuclear, that fission that would involve non-hazardous operations?
No, yeah,
and did we discuss the fact that I won't say you because we're live on Tube, but did I not discuss or we not to contemplate the fact that these could be guised as weapons manufacturing facilities?
Well, no, they are. There's no guys about it. If you run a nuclear power plant on uranium, you can make weapons grade plutonium. What is it, 529 or something like that? From it, and use that to blow shit up.
Be careful! Don't say shit like that.
That's true. You can make nuclear bombs. That's what they do. That's why when what was it now? That reactor that went overboard. The one that happened in England. It down thinking. Not many people know that we had a nuclear disaster. It's because they were pushing it too hard to get this stuff so we could compete, so we could have a nuclear bomb, so we could be part of superpower race and all this balls. But yeah, and that's why a lot of these go boom, because they're pushing them too hard to get that that plutonium. But anyway, you can basically. So when that blows up and has a meltdown, it's quite severe, as we've seen.
Fukushima, bless you.
Ricky, you can also run a nuclear power station on thorium, and when it goes tits, the fallout's not as bad. But you cannot make any weapon. You can only use that nuclear power station to make energy. So a nuclear power station running on thorium is a nuclear power station and just producing energy. But when it's running on uranium, no matter what country it's in, that's a manufacturing plant for making weapons grade plutonium. They might be making energy as well, but it's a dual purpose.
We see it as, through our own research and discovery, it could be.
It's true. America had one. They shut it down in America. The last one, I forgot. I think it were, or they might. I don't know if they've still got it running, but I know they were shutting them. They started shutting them all down in favour of having uranium ones, because then they could produce more bombs. Where do you think they got all that arsenal from? I forgot how many statistics were on that, but
it's been said that there's places around the world that have got nuclear radiation and glassing of the sand today that's thousands of years old, and it looks like there was an atomic or nuclear fallout that happened before as well.
Well, there's other theories.
Evidence
there's other theories on that as well, because when you get massive lightning strikes, that like if you had it to a point where you were creating plasma, if there was sun discharging stuff, they say that it can. They say at one point, another theory on that is basically at one point there was something that happened and it caused the Earth to have massive, simultaneously, probably all over Earth. It would have been part of some kind of catastrophe. Lightning strikes, but big uns and continuous, and maybe like lightning for weeks, just, you know what I mean?
Maybe, baby.
Yeah, that had also vaporised a lot of shit and vitriolized glass, give features of glass. They always talk about comets, don't they?
Yeah, but when they analyse the spectrometer analyzer machiney thing that goes through the elements contained therein of the specimen, they find certain elements that can only be described as contained within such things as, and you're like, what? It's not just about giants and floods and things that are contained, and machines and Nazca lines and cherubims and chariots of fire and energy and ether and the transmorphogenic field, and there's too much going on in for everybody on the realms to grasp at once. But they've all got the little areas, and they're all advancing and bringing up new possibilities. The vortex mathematics, the toroidal field, the vortex maths, that's 3, 6, and 9 from Tesla. It's all just a beautiful phi and pi, how it Fibonacci sitting in there, cymatics, the cymatics. Well, I was just going to say cymatics to top off that. It's all there in the ancient text, and it's like, how do these guys know this shizzle? The Dogon tribe. Dogon, no God. Dogon,
Anybody
no,
who looks
yeah,
a
no
bit
God.
on
Cirrus,
YouTube,
Cirrus
you
B,
soon
the
find
fish head.
out that
The
we're not
fish head.
We're not told out.
The Dogon tribe is no god, and you've got Cirrus, the fish heads, the stories from that. This subject, I found a subject matter that there's only one video on YouTube on, and it's called The Priesthood of the Ills, ILLES. And I found a video by one of the famous speaker, of which name has gone from me again. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's done a chat about it, and yeah, just stuff that we find, eh?
Is it Lloyd Pye?
No, it's not Lloyd Pye, no. Lloyd Pye?
Or is it that reporter Texas bloke who were big on one of the investigators on Kennedy thing, and then just then him Slide.
Slide. I like him. What was he doing that presentation?
Jim Mars, that's him. Jim Mars.
No, it wasn't.
Him.
No, it wasn't. Stop it. You're going to do this now until I remember, aren't you? Well, all right then. It was Jordan Maxwell. I can never remember his name. He's done some good exposés, Jordan Maxwell. The House of Maxwell has done one about the priesthood of the. He's got a website, but his website wants you to buy all these DVDs and PDFs, and it's just intense. It's too bright. If you go to Jordan
that's
Maxwell,
what I'm saying.
it just confuses me. It's too big. It's too deep. It's too everything. Yeah, well, so I just went back to YouTube. I went back to YouTube to look for Jordan Maxwell, the priesthood of the Ills or Illes. It would be Ills, ILLES, and there's only one video on it, and these two guys chatting about it. And it's very interesting.
Just remember, a lot of this stuff, it's like him. He's a mason. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know these people. They have to tell you, you know. But whether it'll help people, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I've seen him checking hands with ditching and.
It's only like him. You said who's had his channel shut down? Jesse Ventura.
No, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Oh, there we go. His mate. Oh well. Yeah.
Jesse Ventura, to be giving credit, you know what I mean?
He was.
What I hear him say normally is all right. It just it's same as him, Ron Paul. They do speak sense. They'd go for stuff like that, being a resource-based economy.
Congress, Capitol Hill, what the Capitol means, why they're on Capitol Hill, who are Congress, two wings, same bird, east wing, left wing, east wing, west wing, right wing, left wing. Sorry, I'm tired.
All stuff is ever slated. Alex Jones. I've seen an interview with him and he's interviewing Jesse Ventura, and you can see he wishes he'd not got him on. He's only got him on, to try and ply the people that support Jesse Ventura. But Jesse Ventura is fully aware of that, and he doesn't let him fuck it. Do you know what I mean? He tries to lead him. You know what I mean? Imply stuff, and he's like, no, don't. You know what I mean? What are you on about?
Yeah.
He's a dickhead as she is, and you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. It's right funny. He just pulls him down and everything, and he didn't say shit to him.
What do you think about Neil deGrasse Tyson, or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
What about it? If he wants to keep his job, he perpetuates.
He tries to explain gravity in a very shocking way. Oh, wow.
He can't explain. Wow. I've seen one bloke, and he says something. What he says about it? Get him to explain how the what is it now? The process. Our cell builds a body with billions of cells. Exact process, the mechanics and everything about it, and it's like they don't know. They just say, and then this does this. What do you mean this does this? How does it do that? Oh, we don't know.
Oh, you mean like the experiment where they get one cell, they clone it, so there's 3 of them. They get them 3 identical cells, and they put them in Petri dishes containing different proteins, and then one of the cells grows into tooth, one grows into hair, and one grows into muscle.
That's epigenetics. That's essentially what a resource-based
that's
economy.
what I just thought of then. I just thought that linked to my brain just for some reason.
that's what we need to do. No, he says, yeah, it's the same thing he's on about that. He says he took some cells, and then them cells, over a couple of weeks, they like split, and he had loads,
Yeah, he was studying a study of cell and the environment, and that's how
they were all identical cells, all identical. And he found that when he put them in one, he put them in one petri dish, it formed bone, another one fat, another one thingy, and then he, at one point, he even put them in a bad environment, and he says they got sick. And he says if you were a doctor of drugs, you might think, oh, what drugs could I give them to make them better, to be able to live in a shit environment?
Oh, yes. What does that sound like? What have we circled back to? What have we just circled back to here?
To live in a shit environment and give them drugs to you know what I mean, to help them survive. And that's what they're doing that's essentially what they're doing to us. But he said he didn't need to do that. He says, I found that he just took them out of a bad environment and put them into a good environment, and they fucking... But, you know what I mean? They were all right. They got better again. And that's what we need to do. We need to change our environment. And I'll tell you what, some people will say they'll look to an experiment that was done with mouse, and it was called Mouse Utopia. And that's why the resource-based
Venus Project
is not a mouse, is not a utopia. It's an emergent. It's not a utopia. It's not going to be perfect. That's why people need to start talking about it now, because it's only just, you know what I mean? People need to start talking about it. This is what people need to talk about, because the shit's got to be ironed out. It's a concept and an idea. It's not perfect, but this shit's got to go, and the way we do this has got to go. One kid said about a computer, how would you stop it thinking? Because and he was a computer programmer. He goes, who'd program it? Who'd be in charge of that? And I was like, well, you. People like yourself that are very good with computers and savvy with it, you would have access to and be part of that community that builds that and does all, you know what I mean? That'd be all open source.
You'd have ownership, input, ability, control. You'd be,
well, you won't get a bloke who's very good at skiing working on it. Do you know what I mean? You get people that love computers and working on building all these systems. The same people that built fucking Google algorithms and all this shit on the internet that you see now, them very people will be doing it. The very people that are building all this stuff, and then for people with money to be used against us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them people would build it. Them people, and you know what I mean? People would say what you want it to do. How much privacy do you want? How much invest? You know what I mean? Because these people, they did have to talk about, not this isn't for spying, but obviously for ill health people on their own disabled people. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Would you want to wear a thing that monitors your pulse, so computer knows if your pulse stops, or if it, you know what I mean? It knows all about medical stuff, so it can notify you and say,
Alexa, I'm dying. Yeah, because
the computer would say, it'd wake you. Maybe you're asleep and your heart rhythm's going a bit dodgy. Computer would wake you and say, the medical team is on its way. Your heart's just been going blah blah blah.
You've just had a murmur in your sleep. You just had a stroke.
You know what I mean? So it'd be on it straight away, rather than any problem building up and you're not noticing stuff like that. It might be beneficial.
We have that technology. It's called a smartphone. It's in your smartphone.
Technology exists now that is very invasive and takes away our rights and privacy. Do you know what I mean? In this culture.
Yeah, it's got to keep you safe. You've got to be safe. Anybody can explode.
Yeah, they scare you into taking your rights away. That's how they do all this.
Emergency measure, execute order 66. That's what they do on the Revenge of the Siths. And do you know that? In that Jedi film by George Lucas and his gang, do you know what they've done with Star Wars? I've watched I admit, I'm a weak point is Star Wars. That little blue robot is all I love, and that Wookiee. But still, the gold robot 3PO and his gay little anecdotes. I listen. Yes, I know it's a weak point. I don't mind admitting it on YouTube. So I digress. We digress. I was watching it with my ear. I was listening in whilst doing stuff, multitasking. I can only do two, so dual tasking. And I hear them say that the Emperor has given Executive Order 66, and the drone and the Jedis, the Sith overlords, go out to hunt all of the Jedis now, and the Jedis believe that the drones are still with the rebellion, the Republic, and not the Empire. And the Emperor's given this command, and they've overhauled the Congress, if you like. Congress has been overhauled by this militant force, invasive, stronger force, and he says, the Emperor, execute order 66. I'm like, 66, like 66 books in the Bible, 66. Yes, you mean. And anyway, I continue on, and in this scene in Revenge of the Siths remade, it's a prequel to the 3 films that we saw when we was wee nippers, brother. The Jedis, they have to be killed, executive order. We think, what's this? What could executive order 66 be? And you see Anakin Skywalker, who's now furious and full of rage and the dark side. He enters this room where there's little eeny weeny little Jedi children there that are of all ages between 4 and 8. And he goes in, he turns on his lightsaber, and he massacres all of the Jedi blood because he's got the order. You know what I mean? I'm watching it. I'm here. I stood up and I thought, what the? This is not the Star Wars I knew. What do you mean What do you mean killing order? What you sacrificing the? Who needs to see that? Whoa, hang on a minute now. I don't think who's authorised this. Where's the BFCC film classification? What about the children? Somebody. And then we find Jim Carrey with his hand, with his puppets and all of this, and we go, see, you tell me there's no messages. You tell me it's innocent fun. Game of Thrones going over the ice wall. Oh, my days. The Emperor, it's just all there for you to see. Do you know what I mean? It's just all there. And it's entertainment, though. It's, it's factual. Some of it's got bullshit shizzle in there. It's never 100%. But they give you such an eloquent mix nowadays, even like Wrath of the Titans, and what we think is history, or mythology, is actual real history, and we've just disregarded, and I'm finishing, and we've ultimately ended up becoming a species with amnesia, which leads me back to this sovereign thing that I'm doing and everything else, because man is going to be warehoused in a prison over a civil issue, then earn the state and the crown money for shit he could have discharged with his thumbprints and an autograph. In fact, you don't know that means we are in the shizen. We're dying by a death of 1,000 paper cuts. And I'll let you speak. I yield.
I can't remember what was that. Let you just jump subject then. What were you on about a minute ago just then?
I can't tell you, it's a secret. The Jedi, the Sith overlords, the Empire, the rulings.
Bit, just before you said sovereigns.
The fact that we've forgotten who we are, and this is why we've got to go back to,
Oh, myth being true, that's it. No.
Sorry,
Some of it.
I said a lot, sorry.
It's like Chinese whispers, don't forget how much time's passed. So some stuff's
loads, mate.
I think there's truth in most parts. I don't 100% believe Bible, but I know there's a lot of truth in it. I don't 100% believe Quran.
It's like some YouTube videos, you watch them and you think, I'm not going to learn out from this, and you take just a tiny slither from it and you're grateful, but the rest of it was rubbish.
I've seen some, because I believe in a resource-based economy and a technologically based resource economy, achieving the highest standards of productivity and abundance and distributing food everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And because it's possible.
Equality,
And Sheffield University's got an advanced thingy of manufacturing, you know what I mean? So that's what they're all about, putting people out of jobs. It's unbelievable what people aren't talking about. It's like, la, 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 don't worry, what we'll do is we'll have some wars and we'll send everybody off and they'll be too busy fighting, and then that'll bring population down and we can make some more bullshit up and just, oh my God. Like they fatten us up for kill. Yeah. Give him 60 years or so, 50, 70 years, and then we'll have another world war. We'll just keep doing that. But, what we're going to say. So, there's truths in lots of stuff. I've watched some stuff, and it's give you just facts all the way through. It's like facts. Yep, that is a problem. You're right there. That's disgusting. Yep, you're right. It is quite satanic. It is really evil. It's bad. Yep, that's bad. And they give you loads of facts that are proper facts. But at ending it, they offer no solution. They'll say something like, and the only thing you can do is give yourself to Jesus. I'm not bashing Jesus. I'm not bashing Jesus or people who believe in Jesus or anything like that. I'm not bashing people like that. But
I come in the name of Christ. Oh, that's going to get yourself
like that.
No, I'm not. I know you're not. I've seen them videos. I've seen them videos. They're funny.
Yeah, he'll be pissed off if everybody's waiting for him. I'm telling you that. Just wait for him. We've got the, you know, like, he says the thing is inside us.
Save
But
me,
yeah, like I
Jeebus.
say, I'm not 100% with the Bible because there's a story in the Bible about, what is it? Some kids mocking, it's funny because someone said something on the thing that I saw and it said, why do they specifically say 2 female bears? But then I watched some, and it said about there's nothing more ferocious. They're on about grizzly bears, and they were like, yeah, they're bad as well. It says now, if you come across a female grizzly bear, that's worse, especially when they've got cubs, because they will do anything. They'll go up against male grizzly bears, and they have to because male grizzly bears kill the cubs. You know what I mean? They'll come and just kill them. So that female will have to go up against. So she's, you know what I mean? Come across a human, nothing, you know. So, yeah, there's a story in the Bible. These kids are mocking this. There's one of the characters out of the Bible. I can't remember his name. Someone who'll know.
Sheb. We'll call him Sheb. Sheb.
Says about, what's it say now? And it's just all of it. In past, they didn't have a, you know, they go about Muhammad being paedophile and that. And, well, marrying to young thingies and that. Peace be upon him and whatever. But, yeah.
Back it up. Is that
no, I'm saying that's what they say about it. But what I'm saying is at the same time period, Christian people and that were burying the kids, the baby girls, alive. They just buried them because they were no use to them. That's the times that were, you know what I mean? They just, kids weren't respected at all. But yeah, in Bible, he said in this story, basically these kids mock this guy for having a bald head. He says, he curses them to God kind of thing and says, here, you know what I mean? Sort them out. So God sends down 2 female bears and kills 42 children.
What?
Just for mocking this bald-headed guy. No, but that's God directly you know, apparently he doesn't interfere with man's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these books have been these books.
Now.
Whoa, these books have been rewritten by the hand of man.
Take everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't take everything. There's a lot of good stuff in these Bibles and stuff, but there's some other stuff that makes you go, what?
Yeah.
I know about, hold on, I didn't think he interfered in the affairs of man. Some kid called a bloke baldy and 2 bears are on him. Well, what's happening with these people that's doing on this at the moment? I think he's gone on holiday then. Yeah, so.
Well, I've been researching stuff about gods, and it's written in the scriptures that gods walked the realm and gods were subject to, and that there's different opinions of what gods and demigods and all of these lords and creators, and the King James Bible, the Zechariah Sitchins and his works of the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, and all these bits that it's just all conflicting. It's just none of it's, you have to just agree that we cannot ever know some things. And we just need to concentrate on the now or the future. The future would be lovely, but the now would be excellent because most are just, smoking, drinking, taking tablets, avoiding life in some way, living in the immediate now and hoping for a good future when we need to look at the future as what we're trying to do here and say, if we don't admit that some administrative change needs to take place along the lines of these subject areas here, what we're talking about, then we're destined for Kiva heaven. Kiva is a system that who uses? Is it Amazon? Yes.
Kiva Systems was bought by Amazon and it's so fully automated.
Here it comes.
It's wicked. It's very good, Kiva. Puts people out of jobs. It's bad in this system because it puts people out of jobs, but they're only low paid.
It's clever. No, it's an intelligent system. Yeah, I'll give it that. They're creative.
Yeah, Amazon people were. Did you see what they weren't providing them with water, but they were walking something like 15 miles or something per shift.
Yeah. No water.
You know, infecting everything.
Oh wow. Yeah. I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's just shitty jobs anyway, but people don't. But people got to do them to get access to the things they need in life. But it's only access. So we just provide access. Cut out the middleman. Money system, money and all that. Well, not even money, it's currency, but all that bullshit is control. That's what keeps some parasites living a life, which is akin to Venus Project, a resource. But you know what I mean? They're getting everything they want. They're getting everything provided to them by us.
I just realised it's 10 to 2. I've got to go to sleep. Well, I need to chat to you off air.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they don't do anything. Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
You'll never see them in the supermarket shopping or out by down, wherever in the park walking the Chihuahua, will you?
No, they're self-running. They don't get him. That's what I mean. It's funny. Self-running farm. That's why I can see how easy it would be to just, people talk about other subjects like fracking and all so. It's just another subject. Technological unemployment. Ask your local MP if you're Conservative. Ask them if you're Labour. Ask them if you're the Green Party. Ask them. Actually, the Green Party should be the only one. They should accept a resource-based economy and the concept of declaring all the world's heritage common resources common heritage. And using technology to create a world of abundance, so we don't have to go to war to fight, fuck up the planet, and a technologically advanced resource-based economy isn't just chewing planet up. That's intelligently using the planet and resources. So if it's like that Ubuntu, if it's not good for everyone, it don't get. If it's not good for planet, and plus we can start cleaning planet up straight away. At the moment, we just don't do it. We just smash a place up and leave it. Normally, it's a country. And then complain when them people from that country are suffering so bad that they leave that country to come to the countries, that's actually profited and thingied off them other countries' backs. It's like when we make a country a war zone and then they all start coming here and they risk perilous journeys to get here. And then people just say, oh, fuck them, let them drown in water and blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Oh, what are you protecting them for? You must be a leftist. No, I'm just getting conscious and I can see, idioticness and stupidity. We dumped all our weapons in that region. But I think it's going to happen if same thing happens here. It can happen here and all. That's what people forget. And they go chatting shit, go, send them back. Yeah, right then. Research your own history. Battle of Britain. Why are we not speaking German? Oh, yeah, because we had loads of pilots that were Polish, and they were just badass and a lot better than English pilots. Because we engaged the German aeroplanes at something like 300 feet, and Poles went straight in there, and they didn't even open fire up until 100 feet, and they got a guaranteed kill every time.
Who's the bloke talking to Indy, please? Matthew from Sheffield, brother.
I am Indy.
I am Indy.
Not just Dave who's Indy, I am Indy. This is my channel as well as Dave's channel. Just Dave has done many videos. I've appeared on a few, but I like to, I'm just, yeah. I'm going to do some actually. I'm not a really social outgoing person, but I'll do some. Just so people don't keep saying, who's that bloke?
The bloke on the phone, yeah. I've seen you. We've done videos, yeah. It's just he was rambling too much, and I said, just put them all in a place here, and I will look at them when I get back from work or at the weekend or when my hangover has disappeared. I will look, and I just couldn't cope with the incessant. Wait a minute! From pyramids to paranormal to poltergeist, to stuff like quantum atoms, electrons, neutrons, science, archaeological stuff.
Stuff that I don't understand, I look at.
Edward, yeah, like Dollard and stuff, and he's like, I'm like, what are you looking at these for? You haven't got a degree, you won't understand it. And your answer was,
I'll take a bit from it, and then I get that, and then I get a bit more, and I get a bit more. It's like he says with consciousness, you get a golf ball thing, you read a book, and you get a golf ball size of understanding and all that, and you're more understanding, you broaden your consciousness, you get more understanding. So I think as you look back on things, it makes sense, because you get more consciousness. But yeah, I was just bombarding Dave, because I was just 24/7 waiting for an operation, and just 24/7 YouTube rambling. Sometimes you think I'm going to look at this subject, but you end up going for a little ramble, and you end up on many different subjects, and you end up on something totally different, But yeah, I was just bombarding Dave, and I wasn't aware that I could, just do a channel, and Dave goes, we'll do a channel. So we set one up, and the first one got cancelled because we made some schoolboy errors, and then the second one.
Don't tell them, it's secret, it never happened.
I just said, right, I can do playlists now, and then all videos, and that's why I put all them videos in them playlists, so people can have a look and hopefully extrapolate stuff from thingy. But there's there's some stuff that is quite deep, dark, some stuff that's facts and then a little bit of bullshit, but you extrapolate that, But I saw connections, that's why I put them in there. Saw connections. But peacefully fight the system, that's what people out there trying to fight this system. But they're doing, they're all trying different rules and ways, and and they're all coming up against brick walls because they're not tackling the core of the problem. The core problem. The core problem is the engine's fucked.
Let's do it. I'm wrapping up. I've said goodbye to the. Say goodbye. I'm ending it.
Yeah. Goodbye, people. Peace, love to all. Remember, we're all same. We're all individual and original. Nobody's ever the same. No matter anybody that's been born and lived on this planet, they're all individual and unique. Don't believe what everybody says, including me. I came out of a...
Don't say
like you. Came out of a lady like yourself.
You can say
I came out of a lady like myself, like everybody else did.
Say the
So
word.
don't believe everything that people tell you. Just believe common sense and what's right is right. You don't hurt people. No matter what, if they're different or believe different things to you, if they're getting hurt, it's not nice. Can't justify it. Remember that. We reap what we sow.
Yeah.
Right,
Right, I'm going to cut this one off. Wait there then. So we say goodbye. Ciao, bello.
Mellow ciao, Wad.
See ya. Arrivederci.
A bit meanie. What?